Well, Mitch, looks like we got ourselves a fight, huh?
Great, it's fighting time. Can I be on their side?
Looks like there's gonna be a brawl. You playing something good?
Hell yeah! Rolling Stone, street fighting man, G7!
You just hit G8.
They burning the country down with their progressiveness. It started with changing what gender is, then graduated to you're racist if you think that your life matters and your skin don't have melanin. They don't want peace, they want skeletons. They want men to pretend that they're feminine. They don't want an election, they got so offended by freedom that they just try killing the president. I used to think that the woke were misguided, but now I can see that they're evil. Twitter is angry that Trump isn't dead. You know who got shot? Innocent people. Thought y'all were tolerant, thought we were equals. I thought you valued how everyone feels. Then why are y'all celebrating an attempted assassination like you're part of Antifa? Thank God the left can't aim. Thank God the right don't riot. Welcome to the home of the brave. Freedom ain't afraid of violence. You wish you was dying? Bitch, you missed. Thank God the left can't aim. Why can't we just shoot straight? Y'all are going insane. Bitch, you missed. There's no one else you can blame. Tried to lock him up in a cage. Now you trying to kill what you hate. Bitch, you missed. Told us trust the science, but it never made sense to me. Why would we put all our trust in the enemy? Millions of people are hooked on amphetamines. They're making billions on untested remedies. Borders are open to people with felonies. Biden can't stop them, he don't have the energy. Y'all want to kill the man trying to fight for a better tomorrow by making him Kennedy? I tried to give y'all a chance, like maybe the left isn't nuts. I was wrong, cause y'all are exactly as crazy as every conservative person I know said you were all along. Wanna protest, go hard. Wanna burn flags, go off. But y'all are so triggered that you're pulling triggers at presidents. Y'all the terrorists when you're armed. Thank God the left can't aim. Thank God the right don't riot. Welcome to the home of the brave. Freedom ain't afraid of violence. You wish you was dying? Bitch, you missed. Thank God the left can't aim. Why can't we just shoot straight? Y'all are going insane. Bitch, you missed. There's no one else you can blame. Tried to lock him up in a cage. Now you trying to kill what you hate. Bitch, you missed.
Welcome. I can't unmute Sean. I guess it doesn't matter. He is unmuted now. But welcome everybody. It's been a crazy evening. I'm just gonna say that much. For those that don't know, my blacksmith shop almost exploded tonight.
Yeah, I saw the video that you posted in our Gilded, the little
yeah,
the electrical fire that started.
So here's what happened. I'll just kind of go over it just real quick. Exactly what happened. I was watching Traveling Fools was doing a his Sunday night trivia stream. I was watching that. All of a sudden, I heard a from outside. My lights flickered. And then they came back up, and then there was another explosion, and then everything just turned off. And then all I could hear from inside here, which was like 150 feet away, was gzz, gzz. And I go outside, and I literally see this. I'm not going to play the audio from it because I put a song over it, but this is exactly what I saw. And this is the video footage that I took. And
I can bring up the video you put up in Gilded.
I can bring it up too, but this is also I put music over this, and this is also the footage of the PGE guy, the electric guy, putting out the fire that's at the top of the fucking pole that started from it. Here, let me actually pull up the footage from the Gilded, because I can totally just pull that up real quick.
Okay.
Find it here. There it is. Okay. I'm just can I full screen that? I can full screen that. Turn the volume up. Actually, I can't play it from the Gilded because it's because for some reason my Gilded doesn't play audio. Let me find it on the Facebook.
Hey, give it a try.
Hey, what's up?
I just want to jump in there for a second to just let you know that I had a really good time the other night. I saw you were live right now. I just wanted to jump on here. No, it was funny as fuck the other night. I had a blast, man. Thanks for having me on, man. Thanks for having me on. That was fun as fuck, dude. So I hope I lived up to all expectations.
Oh, you did great. You did fucking great. Like that was a lot of fucking fun, and you totally helped sell the bit, and you're always welcome to come on anytime we're doing any of those shows.
Dude, yeah, you know, like I told you the other night, just fucking holler at me, man. I'll come on there and talk shit. I love talking shit. I love people, and everything that I ever say is a joke. Can I please just put that out there? Everything is a joke.
100%, 100%. Yes, I understand that.
You know, love you, Ike. I'm gonna bounce, but just saw you were live. Popped in here, thumbs up, and you know, about to go to bed, but saw you were live. By. Yeah, man. Yeah. Love you, dude. And you know, you're always welcome over here on our end as well. Let's grow your fucking channel. Let's make the wrestling thing. Let's make that wrestling thing big. I'll talk all the smack you want. I'll talk all the smack you want.
Yes.
Make me, I don't know. You can't make it win or lose, but you know, give me an easy couple matches. Let me get some paper champs. Let me get some paper champs up in there. Let me get some paper champs. Let me go ahead and beat the paper champs.
Yep, we can make that happen.
You know, and then you know, so I can talk a little more smack, bring a few more people in there, and then I can lose and come back and win, and come back and lose. And you know, I will never lose, so you know that. Love you, Ike. We'll see you later, brother. Everybody else out there, y'all have a really great night.
Thanks for stopping by, sir.
Yes, sir, brother.
All right, Sean. Driving Fools is awesome. We'll pull up Sean's screen here.
Yeah, because I'm sharing. I downloaded it and I'm sharing an entire screen, which gives me the option to share audio. So hopefully this comes through. Yeah, that's not a scary sight at all. Not at all.
Yeah, at the end, not like as soon as I turned the camera off, as soon as I stopped recording, it just sparkled, and then it still was sparking. It was arcing for a while as well at the same fucking time. Like a holy shit! Like that was terrifying. And I'm just glad only one of my monitors got fried from it.
Oh shit! It actually fried some of your equipment.
Oh, check it out. It's my small monitor. It's my small monitor, which this is like a $300 monitor, but still, like this one I use for doing my show with Scott and myself. But I couldn't get it to turn on. I tried to get it to turn on. It's not turning on.
Oh, was that connected to the surge protector or not?
Everything here is connected to the surge protector. I don't know why it's not turning on.
Yeah, it might have been the surge protector didn't protect every circuit.
Well, I'm gonna say is like I don't know what was protected by it, what wasn't, and honestly, I still think this might still work. I just didn't have enough time to get it fixed by the time I got back from the bar.
Troubleshoot. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I haven't thrown it away yet. But I actually have already replaced it with a 20-inch monitor over here. So I've got a monitor that's the same size, not the same size as that, but same resolution. I already set up on top of my computer, so I still have 3 monitors set up.
This is a little bit of a derailment, but what's on your? I think it's your right wrist.
This?
I don't think I've noticed that before.
That's my tattoo.
Looks like a spade.
It is. It's a club. It's a club, but it's a Super Nintendo. It's a Super Nintendo controller.
Oh, nice. Maybe because we don't see that angle of your hand that much, but I just thought that would be interesting to talk about real quick.
Here, check this out. Check this out really quick. So this is the actual paperwork I got from the tattoo parlor in Hawaii that I got it done at.
Oh, you know what? I remember it now. It's been a while since I've seen it because it's such an angle that when you put your arm up, it's barely visible.
This is even weirder because the address of the tattoo parlor.
Is Maui
Lahaina.
Island that burned down.
Lahaina. This tattoo parlor doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it burned during the fire, didn't it?
Yep, that's
the volcano.
No, it was the fire. It was the fire. I think it was just a fire like in Hawaii. It wasn't a volcano. It was just a fire in Maui. It was the big fire in Maui that everybody has questions about.
Everybody has a lot of questions about it.
That's my connection to the Lahaina fire.
Awesome.
In fact, I got this tattoo 8 years ago today.
And I'm bringing it up now.
It's insane. That's kind of like
I hate coincidences like that.
It's not a coincidence. I think the right term is peripetia.
Could you elaborate on the definition?
So it wouldn't be peripetia. It'd probably be more. What's this different word for it? Peripetia means change in circumstance. But it wouldn't be a change in circumstance. It's not a happenstance. It's not a coincidence. You didn't know. It's just kind of weird. Let's just call it strange timing.
Yeah, I can live with that.
But the funny part is, when my brother was on his cruise last summer, he got a Shy Guy tattooed on the exact same spot that I have this tattoo.
Okay.
And I asked him. He showed me a picture. I'm like, "What wrist is that on?" He's like, "My right wrist." I'm like, "Did you do that on purpose?" So my twin brother has the only tattoos that me and my twin brother have. We have on the exact same spot on the exact same wrist. and it wasn't done on purpose, and he didn't do it on purpose either.
Hey, you guys are twins.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Well, that makes me wonder, do you guys have coincidences like that often?
So when we were in high school, like we were into the same thing, so we bought the same clothes and whatnot. And so more often than not, we got ready together separately because there were two bathrooms, 2 showers in the house. We'd shower separately.
Yeah.
Never don't read into that, guys. Fuck you. But we'd prep for the morning separately, and occasionally we just run into each other in the living room, and we'd be wearing the exact same outfit. And the rule that we had was whoever had it on first got to wear it that day. JR, fuck you. Fuck you, JR. No. Nobody clip that. Nobody clip that fucking last thing I'd said.
No, it's one of those that Experience Mangala would love to do, but that's the softest of the type of experiments you like to do with twins. But it is interesting how you're genetically identical, and throughout life, even though you have different experiences, you're still very much so similar.
It's really funny. So there's times where we don't spend a lot of time with each other. I probably call him. I video call him on Facebook Messenger maybe 3 or 4 times a week. I'm like, like occasionally he'll be at the store and he'll be like, "Dude, I saw this and I thought you'd think it's cool." And he'd call me. I'd do the same thing for him. In fact, today he sent me a message.
Is it like almost having a best friend for life?
Sort of. I know. Let me put it this way. So occasionally, people will ask me, "What's it like having a twin?" And I usually respond with, "I'm not trying to be rude, but what's it like not having a twin?"
Because you don't have any other perspective.
I don't have a frame of reference for what it's like not being a twin, just like they don't have a frame of reference what it is being a twin. And yeah. I think that's the best answer I can give.
I think that's a pretty good answer. Because
I don't know what it's like not being a twin, just like you don't know what it's like being a twin. So I can't legitimately answer your question.
I think that's fair. Anyway,
I will tell you. Oh, hold on. I will tell you this though. I bought there's spoilers here for a book that came out over a decade ago, so just calm the fuck down. I bought the book The Deathly Hallows, Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows. I was working at a movie theater at the time, and we were right next to a bookstore. Before my shift started, I went to the store and I bought the book. I would thread the projectors, get them ready to start, and I'd sit behind the projector and just read the Deathly Hallows, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Just read it.
Okay.
I did this for like 3 months. I only read it at work. I just left the book at work. I never read it at home. I only read it at work. And there's a point in the book where it's at the Battle of Hogwarts, and one of the two Weasley twins dies. And I legit sat there and cried for like 10 minutes. And then I literally threw the book and didn't read it for like another 2 months because I was that pissed off. Because I don't know if anybody else, like other people that are twins, would understand the connection and the loss there. And I felt it. I felt that loss because I was invested, because I've read all the books. I've been invested in these characters. I like the Weasley twins because I'm a twin. And that just fucking hit me so fucking hard. It hit me harder. It hit me harder than like
you thought it would.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to try to compare it to other losses, like actual losses of life in my life, but I can't compare it to that.
I don't think we can, because like you said, we don't, those of us who don't have a twin, we don't have a first person perspective. And it's like, okay, people who talk to me about my combat time. What's it like being in combat? I'm like,
I wouldn't know.
I can describe it for you, but it would only scrape the surface of the experience.
Exactly.
Because the rest of it, you're going to have to experience it for yourself, and I don't wish that on anybody.
So I was trying to get to a moment here with something that happened today. We went to the Great Oregon Steam Up today, and they have like a swap meet there. So the Great Oregon Steam Up is like a bunch of old people get together and fire up their steam tractors and drive them around all day, and it's fucking awesome.
That sounds like a fun time.
It's fucking awesome. They have like blacksmiths there, and there's a swap meet. And so at one point they have like an electric trolley there that goes around the property. And so we got on we got tickets, we got on the electric trolley, and my sister-in-law, because at one point my dad was there and I went and hung out with my dad instead of hanging out with my cousin, my brother, and my sister-in-law. And my sister-in-law mentioned something, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then they explained it to me. And I'm not explaining it to you on purpose. And so we went and found it. And so what it is it's a sign that somebody was selling that says Freldom is not free.
Freldom.
It's supposed to say freedom, but it says
Freldom is not free. You know what? Freldom most certainly is not free. It has a cost.
I almost bought it because of the fucking misprint on it.
I think I would have done the same thing.
Because I thought it was fucking funny. And everyone was like, you have a vinyl cutter. Just make your own. So I'm going to make a Freldom is not free sticker to put somewhere.
Yes.
Hey, Daniel Barry, welcome. It is now Monday.
Happy
officially.
Monday. Yes,
maybe not for Sean. It's not Monday for you yet.
Let me check the time because I haven't been paying
attention. It should be 1:19. It should be like 11:19 for you.
It's 11:19 for me, but since kiddo's not in school, when I'm off work, I don't give a shit about time.
That's fair. Jeez, oh man, that I was so scared earlier when the fucking like the thing exploded. I was so scared. I was like, I showed the cops the video. And
there are very good reasons to be afraid of it. Yes.
Yeah, I showed the cops the video, and I'm sitting there and I'm holding my phone. I'm going like this. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm shaking.
Don't shoot me.
No, I'm not black.
Oh,
no. My God.
Oh, did I say that out loud?
Well, that's okay.
Minutes into the episode, I don't think we're gonna get in trouble.
Well, when it comes to the FBI statistical analysis, actually, it's white people who get shot more.
I know. No, I know. It's called bacon. Oh my God, it got dark.
Oh, it just got dark in here.
Oh, here he is.
Hold on. The power just went out again.
It's already dark in my room. You're just seeing my throne room right now, so Hey, Bacon. Hope you're doing well, dude.
Yeah. I hope you're doing good, Bacon. Did your power go out? Like I looked up from the electric company's website, 3,000 people were without power because of this event, which is not a small number. I'm gonna say that much.
But
in fact,
for that population density, that is a small occurrence.
Well, no. I'm in a small town. I think Newburgh is only 2,000 residents, so 3,000 residents means it also hit the town next door.
Okay.
So I was.
Oh, you go ahead.
Sorry, go. So I was. So the power was out, and I'm like, I don't want to be here with nothing to do, and I'm going to go to the bar. And so I started getting ready to go to the bar. And a guy pulls into the parking lot here at the school, and I start talking to him. He drove from 4 miles away because his power was out. He lost power 4 miles away from here. That's how small this fucking community is, and that's how vast the power grid is because of how small the community is.
Yeah, because it's not by city or locality. It's literally the entire electrical grid is national. So you can have an outage in one small community, but depending on where they're at and the position of the grid, you can talk about thousands, tens of thousands, up to millions without power.
Phil, welcome.
Hey, exactly. Phil.
But so what I think happened was a tree fell onto some power lines based on the community group for the city I live in. A tree fell onto some power lines and it caused a surge, which backtracked to this. So right across the street from the blacksmithing school is the power pole. That's a junction. It's a junction. It's a pretty decent junction. And what I think happened is a tree fell onto the power lines and it caused the surge to go back to the junction and then caused it to arc. And then it kept arcing.
Yeah, because the electricity has nowhere else to go. It's trying to figure out, am I going left? Am I going right? Where the fuck am I going? And then, I build up. I'm jumping to the next connector, which can be anything, which it could be the shit on the power lines, or if it reaches enough power, it will ground to the ground.
Yes.
And possibly hit somebody on the way.
So what happened here was this event happened, and I'm out here, and the arcing lasted probably about a full minute, and it was insane and really, really fucking terrifying. I was less than 100 feet from it. It was fucking terrifying being that close to like an arcing event like that, and an explosion with that much force and power. Like I could feel that, like even from in here, the first two explosions that happened, I could feel it, like from inside here. It shook
it's gonna
took everything.
It's gonna energize particles around the focal point, and they're gonna get excited. You're gonna see a lot of what you would think of about static electricity.
Yeah.
So if you get close to it, your hair is gonna fucking just sprawl out because you're getting an indirect effect.
Phil, you're technically not wrong about darkness spreading, because my entire area was in darkness for like a good 2 hours because a power pole exploded right across the street.
Well, that's nice. Sometimes here in my area in Alaska, we gotta wait a couple days.
It was really funny. I was talking to somebody, the neighbor across the street. He was really cool. His name is Stu. And I'm like, about how long is it gonna? Actually, I was talking to his wife. And I'm like, about how long do you think it's gonna take? And she responds with, well, we're not in Alaska, so maybe a couple hours.
It sounds like she knows. She knows, because
exactly.
Last winter it didn't happen, but the winter and the winter before that.
Joe, hop on up.
Yeah, back during
Phil,
the
hop
winter
on
time,
up too.
We actually had power go out for a couple days, up to 3 days. And I'm sitting here, and me and the kiddo, we're just sleeping our way through it, literally. We got candles out just to keep light on. And once the temperature started getting close to freezing in the house, that's when we were going to pack up and go to a friend's house that had power in another community. And I dropped him off. I went back to go get food. And then all of a sudden, all the power turned back on.
Yep.
But I've been a day or two without power before during winter time, and it's miserable.
My plan was I was gonna come after I was done at the bar. Like, I was just gonna hang out there. Somebody left 75 cents in one of the gambling machines, and I kept pushing the button. I hit the bonus, and I cashed out at $16 on that 75 cents.
Oh, nice.
Which pays for all of my drinks, and I was gonna sit there until I ran out of money, and then I was going to come back here and just sit in the dark until I ran out of beer, and then passed out in my bed. And then if I woke up and the power was still out, I was going to go to my grandmother's house and hang out there because she's got AC.
Oh yeah, you guys are in a fucking heat wave, aren't you?
All right. Yeah, it's like today was like 93. I think tomorrow's supposed to be a little bit colder. Phil, no, definitely just don't engage with us. Go to bed, please. We'll be partially nude. Sorry, not sorry. I think that's DJ Play Nice down there, but I'm not sure. Is that who I think it is?
It is.
All right, thank you. Okay, how you doing, sir? It's been a minute.
I'm doing all right. You're talking about the coincidences, not only of the twins, but of asking about the tattoos to begin with, sort of thing, and the power thing I can relate to, and Sean's story about the longest outage, long outage that he was experiencing in Alaska. Tuesday, that's look back 5-6 days now. We had storms roll through, and it took out 250,000 households. And I just got power back today, and that heat wave that they're having out in your spot in the Northwest, we were pushing 100-degree days this week.
I was in another conversation earlier tonight, and Crusader Nate, who's a really big ham radio enthusiast, he was talking about how there was a CME, coronal mass ejection, that we just recently had. I think that might be partially part of the culprit of what you experienced, because he was really excited because now he can get signals that he couldn't get before on his equipment because the atmosphere was so electrified it could transmit signals further than his equipment typically would allow. He was really excited because now.
Welcome, Joe. Or I'm sorry, PBR operator.
Hello.
You said you had a crazy gambling story? I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. Sean, were you done with your story? Or DJ?
I'm finished.
It literally was told to me 20 minutes ago. It's a crazy gambling story.
Not quite. I'll check it out afterwards. Go ahead.
It's a very crazy story. All right.
Go for it.
I call one of my old friends, and I'm talking to her, and we're hanging out, and she's on break at the hospital. She's getting ready to go back and to do saving people's lives, and she was like, "Dude, I gotta tell you," she's like, "I do like online gambling." And I was like, "Okay, fine, that's cool." She's like, "No, I do online gambling, and I hit like hard." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" She hit for $680,000, and
Jesus Christ!
I know it was cool that I like hit her up just like random tonight, and she told me that, so I was like, "That's cool." And freaking, I mean, the state took like 300,000, so maybe.
Of course.
I think about a third of it. So they took about 200,000. So it's still a haul. Like she hooked up her family. Like her family's all set up now. They're good. They are good anyway, but they're extra super good now. It's nice. That's my crazy gambling story. It actually happens every once in a while.
Yep.
Not to me, because I don't play. I don't play. I don't do gambling machines.
The most I've ever won was 2 months ago. I won $300 at the thing over here, and I think I put $80 in the machine because I had quite a bit of extra money at the time, and I put $80 in the machine, and I cashed out at like $380 or something like that.
I walked away from the bar many times with over $300 in my pocket, but it was always over the pool table. I only played pool. Yeah, I played pool.
I tipped my bartender $80 on that night.
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah, when you got money, you're generous. Of course, yeah, you're generous.
Well, I literally tipped him what I put into the machine, and I'm like, well, I'm walking away with $300. Fuck it.
Yeah. Give him a little money. Yeah, my brother for years was a bartender. My brother made bank. When we were working, when I was in college, I lived with my brother for like 3 years. I lived with a couple other buddies for a couple years. But when I lived with my brother, he worked at this little tavern. It was a restaurant and tavern. It was a small operation, but they had gray machines. You remember when gray machines were a thing? Like it was illegal.
I didn't start drinking until I was like 25.
Well, I'm 48. You're probably about 40, right?
I turned 40 in January.
Congratulations. I'm also a birthday in January. But anyways, it was a thing where they would have these illegal machines that were just like for recreational purposes only, and they would just buy tickets to buy. I mean, they knew what the fuck was going on, but they had these illegal machines, and there's for years before the West Virginia lottery, freaking took over everything. Now every machine has like lottery freaking seals over everything. It's all. I know people that work for the lottery that go and service the machine, and it's all like buckled down. But before it was all in-house, so that was in-house jackpot. And the jackpot sometimes in-house at those little that restaurant and bar my brother worked at, sometimes in-house it would get up to like $3,000 or $4,000. And you would win on an in-house freaking gray machine, not a lotto sponsor. It wouldn't get super high. Nobody win like $20,000. Freaking, you win like 2,000 or 3,000 sometimes. It was sweet.
Thanks, Bingus. Thanks. Bingus is saying I look 25 right now. I don't agree with him.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, holy shit! Like it's kind of weird. Everything's weird. DJ, you still there?
Oh yeah.
Did you want to finish what you were starting to talk about?
Well, I just wanted to close out my pain of being in heat and having to deal with that shit. It was just kind of like having to experience everybody having frayed nerves, and the community response. And I don't do Twitter at all. I don't do a couple of different of those platforms, but for whatever reason, I chased a Reddit story that somebody told me about, and I didn't realize that it was that sort of platform, nor how active it might be. Some of those subreddits might be kind of deal. Yeah. And
Reddit's crazy.
You can go deep if you want to go deep. I mean,
no doubt.
People talk. Yeah.
And so I don't know, man. I mean, I'm a pretty optimistic dude most of the time, and part of that optimism is I force it because I don't like to see some of the more negative shit, because I don't need that feeding into my life and making me dump out on a day where I could have had, just even an average day is better than feeding into the frenzy, the fury.
It's hard to be the optimist and you're the bad guy, and you're like, no, I'm trying to help you out, buddy. You're like, no, I talk to my friends openly about alcoholism. I mean, I'm a victim, well, whatever. I don't claim to be a victim. I'm a subject of alcoholism, and no, I'm being very serious. Like, this is a serious conversation.
I understand.
I get the tone is serious here, so I'll talk serious for a minute. We're not joking around.
Right.
I really drink like 10 to 12 a day, and I want to retire in 3 years. I'll be about 53, 54, somewhere around there. And I want to get down to like 3 beers a day. That's what I want to get down to, because so I don't, by the time I retire, I'll die early, because I'll have nothing to do, and I'll be just a stupid alcoholic, just getting wrecked every day. That's what'll happen. So I have to get down to that point before I retire.
Man.
Or it's claimed the life of a couple uncles of mine, and they were truck drivers. They were truck drivers. They were alcoholic truck drivers.
Yeah,
that's what they did.
The guy that's teaching me how to do blacksmithing. He taught my dad how to do blacksmithing. He's currently in an assisted living facility. I talked to him right before they put him in the facility, and he was like, "Yeah, I was actually at a point where I was about to just drink myself to death." And now he's still drinking, but he's not drinking as much as he was. And mainly because I keep asking him to show me how to do stuff. I keep asking him to come out and show me how to do some blacksmithing. Give him something. I'm giving him something to do. And so him and I hang out a lot.
How old's the man? How old's that man?
He was born in 1950, so he's 10 years younger than my grandmother, so 70.
74.
73.
74.
My parents,
74.
My parents were born in September.
Ironically, one of the leading cause of death of elderly people, if we take away the conditions that end up taking their lives inevitably, because none of us live forever, it is lack of purpose. Because the people who go to 70, 80, 90, 100 years old, they have purpose in life and they continue living.
And that
instead of waiting to die.
That's kind of the argument point on having a partner. If you have a partner when you're old, then
you have purpose.
Your partner gives you purpose. You've got a wife or
even a young man who has no purpose will either devolve into bad habits that get them their permanent dirt nap prematurely, or they find purpose and they extend their life.
And if you don't like, often a partner balances you if you have a partner. But if you don't, like me, I don't like to have a partner. I'm not a guy that has a girlfriend. I'll
be right back. I have to pee really bad. Sean, you're in charge. Yeah. Please don't let anybody say anything that'll get me in trouble.
I'll try to make sure we stay YouTube friendly.
Oh, yeah, Bingus is here. Good luck with this one. I'll be right back.
Hi, Bart.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Keep going, PBR. Keep you balanced when you're old. If you're old and you have a partner, that'll keep you balanced a little bit. I'm starting to realize after years of not, I don't like having a girlfriend. I don't like having somebody living in my house. I never have. I would prefer them to live at their house, and I live at my house. And, we interact when we want to interact. But as you get older, God damn, it would be really handy to have somebody to hold that ladder while you're cleaning the gutters out. It'd be nice.
Yeah.
There's all that stuff. It'd be really handy, like when I'm getting the freaking AC compressor replaced in my fucking Tacoma, if I could have a freaking wife come pick me up instead of having a freaking bum ride off somebody to go get my truck. That kind of shit. It would be nice. And eventually it will be when I'm retired.
Hey, when you're ready and the opportunity comes a knocking, then
that's what I mean. I'm kicking into retirement. I'm knocking on doors. I just knocked on 3 doors and they're all of them answered. And I'm like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Do you want to have a campfire in my backyard? Does that sound fun? Yes. That sounds fun. Well, I'd love to see you. Let's talk this weekend.
Oh, good. It sounds like you got options.
I do.
No, that's a good position to be in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Revisiting old friends that I know don't have anything going on. I'm just like, hey, what are you doing, girl? While that dust got to be settled on it, you can dust that off for a minute. We can have fun. Fun times.
No, exactly.
And the one I talked to tonight won $680 in the goddamn lottery. I had no idea. Great.
Yeah. Well, good for her on getting that big win, and it sounds like she's being.
Oh, she needed it.
Anybody who wins big money or just comes into money.
Yeah, she's not retarded. She told me that, like, matter of fact. She's like, you won't believe.
Yeah, but it takes a better person to sit there and go, well, this is going to go pay off debts, or it's going to go to invest in my family members, because most of us are greedy. Most of us are greedy motherfuckers, and we're gonna be like, no, this is mine.
Not the people I hang out with.
Did we just lose Outlaw?
I think we did.
Yeah, it was weird. The screen flashed and then he dipped out.
Outlaw's avatar.
He might have had disconnection.
His avatar's still up. No, now it's gone. His avatar's gone now.
I was just outside, and actually the electric crew is still out there working. Oh, we lost Outlaw and we're gaining Pulse Kebab, but yeah, the electric crew is out there working still. And I just talked to the crew. I have an outhouse outside of the school here, and I just talked to them like, if you guys need to use the bathroom, just use the outhouse here. I'm going to unlock it for you.
Exactly. They appreciate that. That's nice.
Thankfully, it's not during like a storm, like a winter storm, because it could get pretty messed up if it snows where you're at, Ike.
It does, and my uncle and my cousin, their power went out from a tree branch falling onto the power lines, and they were out of power for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I worked for the power company. I worked Hurricane Sandy up in like an area where there's a lot of tree fall and shit, like up in Webster County at a we call it a staging area. It's like where they bring all the freaking line trucks in. You load them up with like, pole hardware, like brackets and shit, and freaking cross members and insulators and all that other bullshit and fuses and shit. You just load their trucks up, and they would just come in, you'd load that up, and then you give them meals and shit. I did that for like 2 weeks during Hurricane Sandy. I didn't have power at my personal house for like 10 days during that point, but my girlfriend had power on the other side of town, so I stayed with her most of the time and packed most of my fucking. I took all my fucking meat in the fucking freezer and put it over her house. It was you do what you have to do when shit like that happens.
Exactly.
You know, my grandma took freaking. She had like a freezer full of meat. She took it from her house out in the country to her little house she had in the city. Yeah, and put it in the freezer. Yeah, you do what you got to do. I mean, to survive when that shit happens. If you don't want to lose much, you throw out the eggs and milk, and all that shit goes done. That's all gone.
These people are working like right now, almost 1 a.m. and it's like an emergency situation of sorts. The least I can do is say, "Hey, take a shit in my bathroom."
An outhouse is nice. An outhouse is golden because it's a dirty pisser. You just go in there, take a shit, and you're good.
Yeah,
that's great.
And so like I was talking to the girl. I'm pretty sure she was there to be a flagger to flag people so they can close off the road. And I'm like, hey. Let your crew know if you guys need to use the bathroom, use this one. She's like, well, we're working here and we're working down the street a couple blocks, and it's perfect. Like it's good of you to let us do that. I'm like, yeah, bathroom's open, use it.
They're not going to fill up the hole. The hole is ever ending. You just throw some lime on it. Good. You throw a little bit of lime.
Oh, it's an outhouse that gets sucked out every Friday, and there's nobody here. And so, like, we literally paying for an outhouse that nobody's using. So somebody should fucking use it, as long as they're not doing drugs in there.
Yeah, is it an outhouse or is it a porta john?
Porta potty. It's not an out. It's a porta potty. Is an outhouse, right?
No, porta potty is porta potty.
Still technically an outhouse.
Technically an outhouse, but an outhouse is more rustic.
We have those. There's a service that employs those.
Fine. I'm sorry. I didn't use the proper term. It's a porta potty.
Well, Mike, you can call it what you want. An outhouse. The only difference there is that an outhouse is a hole that goes ahead. It's one of those things where then you just rotate it after after it gets full, basically, kind of thing.
Twin holer. If you got a real nice outhouse, you do a twin holer if you want to do it proper. But yeah.
Technically,
it would be nice. Once I build my house out in the country, I will have an outhouse. Just because when I'm out working, I don't want to come in the house and dirty the house up. I want to go take a shit in the outhouse. You know what I mean?
Sense. Also, if you have a space that you're working that's far away from the actual house, you want to keep it there. Because you don't want to walk all the way to the house to go to the bathroom, but also again, you don't want to dirty the house's bathroom. And so you have that kind of thing.
I think it's called a Pittsburgh. I think it's called a Pittsburgh bathroom, and that's just because it started there. And I could be wrong about the city, but that's what basically started the thing with having a bathroom. Fuck me.
It serves two purposes.
What?
No. What DJ's talking about is a thing. The Pittsburgh.
Because I'm trying to say something and I'm getting stomped on. It's just like, fuck me. It's like the fourth or fifth time, and I don't want to talk over somebody. So I'll pause, and when it's my turn, you call it out.
Have a
smoke. Yeah,
he was saying something about shitting services.
Hard to determine.
one of the things Joe does kind of start talking over people occasionally. I don't fault him for it. It's just something that he kind of does, and let's be mindful, and we'll be okay. But yeah, exactly. But Pittsburgh, what was it called? Pittsburgh porta potty. Pittsburgh bathroom. DJ, do you want to finish your statement?
Yeah.
I just started off by trying to say, hey, man, you can call it what you want. It's your thing. It could be an outhouse if you want it to, but it is nice to have the discussion about something, what it is and what people's experiences with them are. I mean, I don't live rural. I live in the city, but I'm in the Midwest, and I did grow up in a small town. So there were still, people using an outhouse, for God's sake. And, I didn't even think that people were, once indoor plumbing became a thing, I didn't think people used those at all. Now, they were on like farms kind of thing, but it was actually kind of fun. I mean, when you're a little kid, getting to take a shit outside and in some little closet looking thing. I mean, it was fun. It was fun. But like the other thing is pit toilets, like in say like a county park or a state park or something like that doesn't have plumbing in their bathrooms. Those things are so bad.
I would hate to have that job to clean it all out.
No doubt. So, and I'll close out my my remarks about this with middle of the summer. We're on our way to Houston. My dad has just recently remarried. I'm an early adolescent. We're Red River, Oklahoma State Park trying to stay the night. And there was a huge biker bash that had been going on there the whole weekend. And it was the most heinous it was the most heinous bathroom I've ever been in, like my entire life. Worse than Ireland, worse than Scotland. And I would have stories about those too. But it was one of those things where people were standing on the toilet seat and shitting because the shit tower was a good 2 feet above the line.
No,
it's like, how are people doing this even? You got to be one filthy, motherfucker to do that. It's just like, go outside for God's sake. What do you at that point, what is it that you're trying to prove?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. If I walked into a bathroom and saw that, I'm just going to shit on the side of the bathroom.
I would too. I'll lean against the log. I'll find a nice log. Get a leaner.
I want to interject just really quick. I would like to request nobody try to talk over each other. I know it's kind of hard. We only have like 6 people here, but if somebody's talking and you want to interject, wait until a moment that you can interject into the conversation, and try not to talk over them. Like, hey, Coop, hop on. We're gonna talk about Red Dawn in a minute.
Oh my, that's a good subject. I love Red Dawn.
So, like, when you're finished with your statement, give a 2 to 3 second pause to allow an opening.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm sorry. Okay. It's okay.
No. Joe, you're fine. Don't apologize.
I try to be ultra fine, but it doesn't always come over that well. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah.
Understandable.
The other problem with specifically with you is your audio is still really glitchy. And so like I want you to have your opinions heard, but sometimes when you're talking, people do talk over you, mainly because it sounds like you're done talking because your audio stops.
Agreed. I'm gonna go to the office tomorrow, and I'm gonna rip off one of those old freaking webcams. I saw a couple of them in boxes laid in the freaking storage area. I'm like, dude, I'm taking this home, and I'll probably end up broadcasting from right here. This is where the main wires are, so I could just like tap in, like not even do like freaking wireless. I'll just do wired.
Yeah, wired is always a good way to
Wired is always better.
Yeah, I'll just wired instead of wireless. Yeah, and it'll be fine. It's fine now, but it's not fine. It's gay. It sucks.
I
know connection blows. I'm sorry.
What's up, Vegas?
Don't worry about it, man.
I thought you were like 28 years old, bro. I thought you were like only a few years older than me. And then when you said out you were 40, I was like, what the fuck?
I'm 39. Coop said that he wasn't going to join us. He's just going to watch.
Coop's all over the place. I see him in the comments.
No, he literally just said, seriously, podcast, just watching tonight, my brother.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the Jew guy from last night really quick?
Do you really want to go there?
Well, I'm just so I just want to give like I have an opinion about what he was doing, and what he was doing was in bad faith, and I hated every minute of it. So what he was
yeah.
What was that?
What was his username?
I don't remember.
Name.
A Jew guy came in?
Sean, do you remember his name?
I do not. Coop would know. Coop, if you could put it in chat, that would be nice.
No, we don't want to know his name. It doesn't matter. We don't need to know his name.
Well, I mean, just trying to identify who you're talking about.
He was the guy that kept, hold on. I'll go through my spiel that I have about this.
I had a deep talk with somebody off of Bacon Stream.
It was that guy. It was that guy.
Okay, I had a deep talk with him. I went on VC with him on Dark's channel, and I VC'd with him. I told him I'd give him 15 minutes. I think
it was Gabber. Gabber. It was Gabber.
Yeah. Gabber Pilot. Yeah. And I don't know where that guy's at, right? But he was completely polite to me the whole time. And we talked about family values and shit like that, about freaking leaving your house and freaking getting married, having kids, and freaking finding a lady, shit like that. That's what we talked about for about an hour.
I've had decent conversations with him.
Normal family values. So I know he's acting up here and there, but I think he's just frustrated.
So here's my problem with him. And if anybody knows who he is and wants to reach out to him, I'd like to bring him on my channel and talk to him, because I'm going to explain exactly why I was frustrated by what he was doing. And me being a person that likes to just kind of sit back and watch sometimes, and that's what I was doing. He called me out. He called me out and said I was yelling the entire time. No, I was only yelling after I found out what he was doing. He was using a debate tactic that I fucking hate. And so what was happening was he would ask a question. He'd be like, did you know that all of the people of this were Jewish? And then people would start talking about it. Everybody in the panel would start talking about it. And then there'd be a lull in the conversation, and I didn't even have a proper time to talk to interject. And so people were still talking. People were still having conversations at this time. And then he would interject a new question, a different question to subvert that conversation. It's a debate tactic. It's a debate tactic that he was using, and I hate that. And he did it over and over and over and over again. I think I counted like 10 times he used that debate tactic. And so, like, when people were talking about it, people were having the discussion about his first question. And when it got to a point where people were trying to subvert the actual conversation that he wanted to have, he changed it to a different topic. And he kept doing that. He kept doing that.
He didn't display weakness while I was talking to him. We talked about serious shit, but we were private one-on-one.
Well, I'm not saying that he's weak. I'm not calling him weak. I'm just saying that's
weak either. That's what I'm saying.
But then also the other problem I had with his debate tactics was I know that this is happening because I am Jewish. And that was his proof. That was his proof. He kept saying this. He kept using circumstantial evidence over and over and over again. Circumstantial evidence, not actual evidence, but circumstantial evidence. There was no actual evidence that he was giving us. He kept giving us circumstantial evidence. And I'm like, I can't have this debate.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I do listen to Alex Jones every day, all day.
Oh, Coop's threatening that we're gonna threaten to have him show up to talk about this.
No. Do it. But I don't talk about how the Jews.
Oh man, Sean, can you give me a drum roll really quick?
Jews rule the world. Throw it out there.
Oh, cool.
all that bullshit.
Wow. We're gonna rehash.
It can be crazy, but it can be true. But I'm not really caring about if it is or not. It doesn't matter.
The problem is
we're having last night Gabber last night 2.0 right now.
The problem is with some of that.
But me? Fuck.
Yeah.
No, hold on, Joe. Let Coop talk about what he's going to talk. I'm running this show, so if I tell you shut up, okay, please.
I got you.
Coop,
yes,
go ahead.
The problem is with a lot of that, and here's what people miss:
Okay, there are people of every race, religion, creed, whatever, that do a whole lot of dirty shit, and they've made a whole lot of money, and they control the power. So where I finally got pissed off with Gabber last night is this whole the Jew thing. We're throwing the Jews under the bus and all that shit. That's where I was finally like, no. I tried to slow him down, and then I finally fucking just muted him, and then he kept going, and I banned him because that's horseshit. That's the same thing as me blaming all whiteys that look like me for slavery.
Yeah. I was
Coop, we all tried to slow him down last night. We all were like, dude, calm down with this. Like Sean said it. I didn't say it directly, but I posted it in chat.
You had a bacon stream.
You said it in the chat. Sean said it. I said it trying to slow him down while it was going. Everybody tried to tell him, hey, wait a second, just pump the. It's like Taco one night. Pump the brakes a little bit and let's talk about this a little bit and let's get through it.
He's a young man.
That's the one thing where I will absolutely drop someone from my chat for and ban somebody for. It's just being an over the top moron. I mean,
it was a little over the top.
I think he's young. He's young and dumb, and he'll learn. But he hasn't learned yet. He hasn't.
I don't know if he's gonna learn, but he's gonna learn when he gets kicked out.
I think he will. I talked to him personally, like one-on-one.
No, yeah,
for about an hour. I think he will learn. I think he is.
I've had decent conversations. Do we know how old he is?
Like
about 20.
He's in his early 20s.
Yeah. No. He's. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. This is my channel. He's fucking retarded at that age. So yeah, I was retarded at that age.
Dude, I was a. God,
we all were.
I've told stories on VC, but I won't tell them live because I start talking. I talk too much when I'm live.
Oh yeah.
But I was retarded too when I was his age. In a different. Very
exactly. So I'm just gonna say this. My biggest problem with him was like I'm gonna reiterate what I just said. Was the whole him. He knows what he's doing. He knows how he's trying to debate, and so when a conversation isn't going his way, he just asks a new question. And then everybody on panel just kind of latches onto it because he's the center of attention at that point.
That's why I posted down in chat. It's like fighting a hydra. So he starts on one thing, you chop the head off on that, and he switches to another thing, you chop the head
it's not that he's losing. It's not that he's losing. He's getting dogpiled on by other people on that one subject. He changes the subject. And that's what pissed me off last night about all of that. And that's why I got so mad. And then he got into chat afterwards and called me retarded and saying that I was yelling this entire time. I was not yelling the entire time. I was only yelling
properly. If it's used properly, that is a good insult. It
is a good insult, but I wasn't being retarded. I was only upset when I found out what he was doing, and I called him out on it. And then that's when he called me retarded, because I'm like, dude, I'm done with this. I'm done with all of your bullshit here. I need you to actually just let us have a conversation and not keep changing the subject every 20 minutes.
See, he used the word on you, and you should have used the word on him, because I used the word on people. That's the word I use.
Well,
that is the word I use.
Like it's hard to offend me.
Okay. I mean, I do use that word, and I use it vindictively.
I'm not mad. Hold on. I'm not mad that he called me retarded, because I know I'm not retarded.
Well,
at least in that aspect.
Plenty of times.
No,
I call myself retarded all the time.
You should have used it preemptively. You lost your chance, and he used it first.
I did. I did a little bit.
Lost your chance, buddy.
Oh yeah, no, he was totally being retarded about how he was going about the conversations. Like, if you want to say this,
first, you can't call him a retard back. He already used it. He got you.
And I never did. I actually just did, but I didn't that night.
He got you.
If you want to have an honest conversation about something, and an honest argument about something. Okay,
in good faith, a good faith argument.
When you call somebody retarded at the end of the argument, you call them a retarded stuff.
So you throw a point out there,
Yes.
and the other person has a counterpoint. You listen to the counterpoint, you stay on the topic, and you argue off that counterpoint until that is resolved one way or the other. And then if you want to change a topic, then you move to the next topic.
But that's what was happening is we were on the counterpoint, and we had 4 or 5 other people that had other things to say about the counterpoint on that topic. Instead of allowing the rest of them to have that conversation, he was like, "Did you know that Netanyahu is a Jew?" And he would just interject that, and then if that wasn't the thing he was going to do, he would just start reading some sort of Jewish scripture that nobody cares about.
Well, the thing is when you're reading something like that, okay, if you're not a scholar in the area,
I gotta jump out. I'll see you later.
All right, Pulse.
All right, Bob. It was good. It was good seeing you for like 2 seconds tonight, Bob. Have a good one.
Yeah,
Bob. Be cool, my brother. We'll catch you after a while.
Love you, dude.
Good to see you again.
No homo. No homo.
Yeah.
No homo, Bob.
If you're not a scholar in the area, so I've studied a lot of different things. I've been exposed to a lot of different stuff. But if you're not a scholar in the area, some can throw out a passage from something that is taken completely out of context.
Exactly.
And then other people will believe it. And that is part of what pissed me off. Because I've been in plenty of chats with Gabber. I like Gabber.
He's a good guy. I've talked to him before. It just I don't like his like Jew hate. And it's not that I don't like his Jew hate, it's just that he doesn't know what he's talking about.
I had a one-on-one live talk with this kid for like over an hour. I told him I'd give him 15 minutes. It was like over an hour. I didn't go to sleep that night. I was like outside talking on a porch. My neighbor walked out smoking cigarettes. Like, what the fuck are you doing? I was like, I'm still up. And I was talking to him. And having a normal life talk about like, you know, raising children, having families, and how that's a good thing. That's what we were talking about. It was like totally vanilla. It was great. It was great. I told him, I was like, man, I'm 48 years old. I missed my chance. You're in your prime. Do it. Freaking hook up with a chick, have a freaking family, freaking raise children, freaking do it. That's what you want to do. You know you want to do it. Just do it.
Can we rephrase hook up with it? Can we rephrase hook up with a chick to get hitched to a chick and then have a family?
No, you know what I mean. I mean, marry a very nice woman and have
there we go. Semantics.
Marry a respectable woman and breed with her and have children. Yes. Procreate. That
cool.
was
what were you saying?
That was it.
No, I was reading something in the background too, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
There was something I wanted to send to George. We talked about it kind of last night, hit it about the Tuskegee experiments, and I was reading through something that I read before.
Yeah. Because I'm under the impression that I think most people are, but you have you've got evidence of a contrasting.
Yeah, well,
you have evidence that contrasts.
Wait,
I've read through it before, and I was just looking through something briefly, real quick, but I've read through it before at a couple of more in-depth studies, to where it wasn't that the government gave black people syphilis; it's the government.
They already had it, but they were monitoring, but not treating.
Yeah,
I've heard about that.
I think they didn't give it to them. They give it to them through like
they gave them placebos, and we're like, yeah, we're treating you for this bad blood disease, and then they just watch the effects.
Hold on. Can I? I'm going to interject here for 1 second,
Yeah,
Sean.
go ahead.
Say where you're going to say where you're going to say. I wanted to say what you're going to say, Sean. Then I'm going to interject.
No, my commentary was finished.
All right.
I had asked Coop because Coop had, or I talked about the Tuskegee experiment, and Coop knew of some things, had the sources right ready. right there, and I asked him if he could provide those so I can look into it for myself.
Cool. Yeah.
He's fulfilling that request.
I'm just interjecting to kind of interrupt you guys for a second. DJ and or Bingus, do you have any commentary about what we had just talked about before we move on to a new subject?
The Gabber PA thing. I've only seen him in dark DLD's chats. What I noticed there and the interaction that he had with DLD indicated to me that he's over emotional and attention seeking. And so, he was actually seeking in the chat that I was in, and this is some weeks ago, he was seeking comfort. And so I can't, I don't have the expertise that Joe has in the interaction sort of thing, but just in the text chat and what DLD was saying, I got the impression that he had unloaded a whole bunch of emotional stuff. And here was DLD kind of soothing him, Gabber, man, that kind of thing. So I think that I think there are probably there are compound issues, plural on top of all that with that kid. And I'm glad that there are members on this panel and maybe out there in text chat and certainly, in other people's chats that are trying to bring him around a little bit. But I wasn't around for the conversation you're talking about, so I only wanted to offer what I did as reference.
Oh yeah,
that's it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
He wanted to talk to people. He did.
So
he did.
I'm gonna say this. I was the one that blew up on him on the Coop's channel last night, and
no,
I'm the one that
blow up. You did not blow up.
Sort of. I sort of did, and he didn't like me anymore. I would love to still talk to him again, in a pleasant format. I would love to do that again.
He emailed me sometime either during that stream or after the stream. I think after I dropped him and just was like, "Fucking, I'm done with it." And I haven't read that yet, and I will go in and read it. And I'll respond to it. I mean, he's got my email. He knows who I am. We've interacted before. But there becomes that situation where, look, if you are so kind of compound issue like DJ was saying, and you're seeking all of this attention for things, eventually, when it runs to this negative end, someone has to tell you you're being a dumbass. And you need to fucking get out of your own head. I don't know. Maybe experience the rest of the world for a little while.
Listen to other
people. Well, never mind. It's no big deal. That was private. He's a young man. He's a young man, and you know what? How many young men interact with older men and actually talk about shit? Sometimes it's probably a little overwhelming, dude. You know what I mean? It could be. It could be, that might be an issue too. Like, Dad, we're going to tell you serious shit. Just shut the fuck up and listen. And he might not, react to that very well. That's
Coop, before you respond, I want to give DJ a chance to respond because I know he's not going to interject himself. DJ, do you have any final thoughts about that?
Just that I am pleased that there are people like Joe that are willing to have those slow conversations to settle him down a little bit. And I guess what might end up being a segue is I really, really despise when people want to rail against other cultures, other religions, other races, other orientations. It's like, look, everybody, we can spend time on much more important things that are about our general humanity. Instead of trying to make an us them out of everything. Nobody wants to be at a disadvantage. Exactly. So trying to put somebody in that subject, a lower role, trying to use the caste system. It's like you are now a peon sort of thing. It's just like, but it's worse than that. And I think the viciousness that comes out of people sometimes is just a reflection of their own frustration. And I'll close it out. Alex Jones or not, a lot of people do not have the density of intelligence based on experience or however it is that you gain it, that they're so easily influenced or swayed. Nobody wants to go, and I'm overgeneralizing, but people do not seem to want to read anything past the front page. Worse than that, they don't want to read more than the headline. And so whether or not that is in print,
comments only.
Yep.
They don't even headlights. They read the comments.
Joe, let him finish. Let him finish, Joe.
That's pretty much it. It's just that people don't seem to want to spend the time like Coop digging out something that's legit. If someone's told something, it's the title of a video, whatever the hell it is, they seem to internalize it as fact. And I'm not so down on the younger generation, but I do know this: they are less. They are influenced less, and they try to accomplish less when it comes to their own edification. People don't sit around with books or in small conversations and really try to broaden themselves. It's quick and dirty. It's easy to respond to those kind of things because then you get the feeling of being superior, and that's not necessary. I get it, but it's not necessary. That's it.
I work with these people.
Thanks, DJ.
Yes, DJ. No, well said.
Always on point, man.
Yeah, well said.
And it's just that's part of what got me, and I said it on stream last night. I can't see throwing all people under the bus for one thing that powerful people do. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't throw all black people under the bus for this. I can't throw all white people under the bus for that. I can't throw all Muslim under the people for this.
That would sound irresponsible
for what they do. It's their actions. And people have to realize these very powerful families and very powerful people that have
they're all playing us like puppets.
Yeah, I mean they use us like marionettes, and they're just and it doesn't matter because their religion, believe it or not, their religion is not Judaism, Catholicism, Muslim. It's power. That is their religion. Is power.
I'll be right back. Sean's in charge.
Alrighty.
Oh, we're all going to hell.
All in charge of our day.
Yeah,
you should have done worse than left me in charge.
Sean in charge.
Yeah, Sean, I might send you a couple things.
Okay.
This article, this first one, you can tell it's written from someone who's like, well, this is McGill. I don't know a whole lot about them. You can tell part of the way this is written, but it definitely doesn't mention from what I skimmed through about like anybody giving people the disease. It definitely does mention that it was focused on the black population and they were just basically feeding them placebo.
Yeah. Well, that's why I wanted to get the sources that you had. That way I can cross-reference it with what I understood, and then I can go back to my sources.
Oh, absolutely.
And be like, did something change in my sources, or was there an attempt of a memory hole? Because, yes, they want to make sure this thing is forgotten. They want to make sure that that incident was entirely forgotten.
Well, there's two streams of thought for it. So there's one that wants to let it be forgotten, and there's another one that wants to manipulate it and turn it into something that's totally not.
Yeah,
which is completely consistent with the way our elected leaders and people in power do things.
Dude, they totally want to change the subject every time. You know, every time you're like, "What's up with this?" No,
what are we talking about?
Me and Sean were talking about what we were talking about last night with the
Tuskegee.
Oh, well, that's fine. That's fine.
And I'll have to find it. There was a big article I read about it that actually broke down the science behind it. And if I can find that, I'll send it to you. But
I'm going to interrupt just really quick. I'm going to interject just really quick. I'm not going to interrupt.
No, it's your show.
I'm going to interject just really quick. In about 20 minutes, if you stick around, we can talk about whatever we're going to talk about. But about 20 minutes, we're going to talk about Red Dawn because I stayed up until 4 a.m. and watched that fucking movie.
You finally watched it.
I watched that. Sean, I sent Sean a picture. I sent Sean a picture of me watching it.
How was it? No, wasn't it a moving? It was a very moving motion picture. It was a very good motion picture.
Like the first thing I sent to Sean is like this. Like, I think I may have posted in Coop's chat. I'm like, this movie is too fucking real.
Yeah,
it's too fucking real. It's too fucking real.
It is. No, imagine
Well,
that. High school,
what is it?
high school
What were you
paratroopers
watching?
come
Were you
down,
watching the recent one or
No.
the original?
He was watching.
I watched the OG
The original.
1980.
Okay, good.
What was it?
There's only
1984.
There's only one.
Did anybody on panel see it in the theater on original release?
No, I don't think I was even born yet.
I was
I
not
remember
born
it being
yet.
I remember it being a topic of conversation, like at school during the week of its release. People had seen it, and we were talking about, well, what would we do, kind of thing. And I can remember one person in particular, Danny Roselle. I said, well, we should probably just gather in the gymnasium and come up with a plan. And Danny said, no, we flip over the desks and we fight them. And I was like, whoa, that we would have power, kind of thing. That was interesting. It was interesting to think that we would be in a position potentially of defending our nation without being a member of the armed forces or LEO or any other damn thing. It was like a power to the people resistance kind of deal.
Yeah,
right on.
It's exactly what it is. It's a movie about a what is it called? Militia. They're literally a militia.
But they weren't. They were high school kids. Yeah, they weren't.
No, they were.
They organized after the fact. Yeah, they organized.
They're still like within the movie. They're still a militia.
Yeah, they are a militia.
No, they became insurrectionists because they were under an occupation.
Hold on, I'm looking up the definition of militia.
Well, no, they were under controlled occupation because there were people paratrooping in there. They were occupied. So it wasn't even martial law. It wasn't a militia. They were organizing their own militia, yes, but not pre-organized. They were doing on the cuff.
They were definitely.
Yeah, it's a reaction to an invading force.
Militia. So here it is from Oxford Dictionary. A military force that is raised from the civil population to supplement a regular army in an emergency. They are a militia as per that definition.
No, per that definition, I think it applies.
But you're thinking a militia is the people that are trained, and these people weren't. No. These kids weren't trained. But you don't.
No,
have to
they
be
weren't trained. No, they were makeshift. It was ramshackle. It was makeshift.
But you also don't have to be trained to be part of a militia. Like if you watch the movie, what's that movie? It's The Patriot. You watch the movie The Patriot.
Yeah.
They started a militia in that movie of people just from the community, and they're not trained to be part of that militia.
I'm not even trying.
Okay, but during
Bacon,
go ahead, Joe.
knows what I'm going to do. Bacon knows what I'm going to do. When times get bad, I'm going to launch my homeless army. I'm gonna give them pump shotguns. All of them are going to have pump shotguns. All of them. There'll be about 12, 14. Bacon's going to be a general in the army. He's going to come to West Virginia. He'll have no. He's already committed to it. It's going to be
I don't know about trusting Bacon to be a general. Like I know him.
No. He might. No. He's going to.
How do you think people felt about other officers in the Revolutionary War?
You're fair, Sean.
Because not everybody was on board with Washington.
In my area, all the homeless in my area will have shotguns.
Because
I'm just going to say.
Washington was a proven loser in military application.
I'm going to talk about the Delaware here for a second.
All right. All right.
I actually don't know a lot about it, so I just was making a joke.
No, Washington in his early days in the British Army, he oversaw as an officer some of their worst failures of the Indian Wars.
That's a little racist.
That's what they called it. His unit got ambushed, but then again, he was a officer. He wasn't the commander. of any of those engagements. So he knew what failure looked like. And he also knew how to combat against it.
Yeah,
but he was never given the opportunity with the British military to show that. Because he could because what is it? Back at that time, commissions were dealt out, but they were also term-based. Not like a standing military that we have right now.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Dude, rock and roll.
We lost Bingus. Are we still talking about Red Dawn?
No, we're currently talking about George Washington, but we can go back to Red Dawn.
We got there from militias. And whether or not...
No, I understand. We can keep going down that rabbit hole if we want, but I was just curious.
I was just saying Washington's early military career was blackened by defeats from people he was under, not anything that he had anything to do with, because when he became a Revolutionary War general, he was the guy who went on the front line and fought with other soldiers.
Yes. I kind of want to focus on what DJ talked about a second ago, where he is saying, DJ was saying, Bingus is the one that dropped. But yeah, Bingus. But DJ was saying that he saw the movie in the theater, and then him and his classmates talked about what they were going to do potentially if that happened to them. And essentially, I don't know if he's still listening, and he can interject with that.
DJ's
but
here.
from
he's in the chat.
Oh yeah, DJ, tell us again exactly what your classmates were saying that they wanted to do versus what you wanted to do, and then potentially what like the other adults at the time, because you said you were in like school at the time. I'd like to hear that aspect of it, because that was at the same time, and it's also during the Cold War with Russia.
I can the way that I remember it was my goal was to like marshal forces and to put like some power in our hands. Now, I was an athlete. The people behind Danny Roselle's idea were jocks. Now, I only make that distinction because he was way more willing to put himself out front in an aggressive way than I was. And I can remember picturing and looking out the windows. Our classroom had windows the width of it, and imagining that the parachutes were landing. And when he said flip over the desks and fight, he was ready to face, it's kids having a conversation, but he was ready to face death. And so the Patriot, the movie was brought up. We were thinking about forming militias. In that moment, I realized that there is that blind, I'm having trouble describing what it was. Just the willingness to rush into the fray. Let's slip the dogs of war, and we're charging kind of thing. And I'm like, whoa. Let's set up some defenses first kind of thing. I don't want to die immediately. I wanted to be able to preserve. And I wasn't thinking, God and country at that point, but it was just like, these are my friends. And I internalized it a little too much because I was a kid who did that sort of shit back then. And I don't know that we talked about it more than a couple of days sort of thing, but I do remember beginning to have not a full conversion, but beginning to develop becoming a little bit more patriotic, in that I understood that the foreign aggressors, and you're right, it was Cold War kind of thing. We didn't imagine it was going to come in the way it was portrayed. And the fact that those were the factions that came in and were doing that, we hadn't considered them as being an enemy. We were still thinking it was going to come out of Eastern Europe and the Soviet Union, and that was it. Instead of focusing on what could have been, and I understand, that they were allies in that aggression sort of thing. And these days, people have kind of shifted that same conversation, as I've seen it in the last couple of years, to things like a Chinese invasion. It's like, we went from being afraid growing up because of nuclear weapons. We're going through, the SALT talks. I remember in the 70s. That was another thing I was really behind. It's just like, let's not have these. We didn't call them WMDs back then, but we sort of lived under, and I bet Coop can maybe relate to this as well. We lived under that feeling that this could happen at any time. And that mutually assured destruction was the dumbest goddamn thing that I had ever heard of.
Yeah.
I understood that that was what people assumed was going to happen, sort of thing.
Right.
And I was in a meeting. It was a Unitarian Universalist gathering, and this guy totally spun me around and away from that kind of Cold War mentality by just saying this: it's not going to be the Soviet Union. It's going to be somebody somewhere who starts it all and points missiles equally at both of us to try to preserve themselves and take over, sort of thing. So I'm glad those things are gone. I see fewer threats overall when it comes to country on country and whatnot, but I still have concern for that sort of thing. I'm for the things like mutually assured destruction or just wholesale slaughter kind of shit. And it gets more and more devious as we're going on. And now we talk about EMPs, or there was that. Anyway, I'm starting to blather on here, so I do want to pass it back. But yeah, I know, dude. But it's like I'm glad you passed to me. If there's something else that I can respond to,
I wanted to get your opinion on that.
Well, the crazy thing is, so okay, Red Dawn came out in like 84.
In 1984 is when it was released.
And again, we're still. Even if you just took very small parts of that and you look at Germany, you're still dealing with East Germany and West Germany at the time. Now, to say this, to give people a little context. So my dad served 26 years in the military. We were over in Germany 3 times. Once before I was born. The second time I was probably 4 years old in Berlin. And then third time I was over there when the wall came down in 90 whatever.
94.
So I got to see Germany in a couple of different states. But if you've ever listened to God, what's the dude's name? I was just thinking of it. He was explaining how Russia did subversion, and we all think it's going to be someone blowing up a bridge or something like that. And he said it's not. He basically laid out the case that to destroy America, all they would do is destroy the culture. And then America's going to fall in on itself. And that is where we're at.
Yep.
Correct.
And we're all, like DJ said, I mean, I remember the mutually assured destruction stuff. We got nukes, they got nukes. They won't fire ours because we're going to fire theirs and all this other horseshit. And I know I got it backwards. I'm dyslexic. Kiss my ass. But, we all, you can bring that down to a very small level, which is, if people know I'm carrying a gun, they're not going to assault me, but people still assault other people with guns all the damn time.
Hold on, Coop, based on what you're saying there, what's that term? It's an armed society is a polite society, and that's kind of the same thing as a mutually assured destruction kind of thing. It's like
Agreed.
The armed society being a polite society comes down to when the bad people realize that the good people will shoot them in the face and the good people don't get charged, then the bad people have a very downside to that whole being bad thing. We live in a society where someone can defend themselves against a violent criminal.
I know DJ's trying to be polite and all, but he was starting to say something. I think he said agreed. Like, did you have something to add to that, DJ?
I was robot.
The transition that you were making there by making the observation about WMD being quite similar, and then Coop having that reinforcement, that was absolutely the way that I felt. And I did want to have something beyond my own power, my own fists, kind of thing, or my legs to run away from something. I didn't seek it at that time, but now I understand what it was that I wanted. I wanted the ability to stand between somebody who was trying to subvert or abuse, harm, or kill, because I wanted to be, I'm a little bit like Jules. I want to be the shepherd.
Okay, DJ, I just looked at this. Is that what's his name from the Outsiders? Johnny from the Outsiders?
It's Ralph Macchio. Yeah, totally. The Karate Kid.
Okay. I just called it. I had to ask.
Right on. That was it.
DJ, I'm sorry that I keep calling on you, but I know that you're not going to interject yourself, and so I'm trying to run a panel so that you can be involved without having to try to
step over like me.
Yeah, step over people. And so, is it okay the way I'm running this? Are you okay with that?
Oh, absolutely, man. And I bristled a little bit at the time because what I was trying to share, I thought was important at the time. And I'm not trying to place myself above others. And I do want to offer you a modest apology, and an admission. And that is, I didn't care for Joe's approach. I didn't mean to have a reaction. Okay.
No, don't apologize. Joe's already apologized, and I called him out sort of, and I like Joe, but what he does is talks over people, and so I know that you're not going to interject yourself the way he's interjected. And I'm trying to keep you into the conversation because I like your opinion and I like the way you talk, and I want you to be involved in this conversation.
Yeah,
Brandon, I appreciate that. Absolutely. And you asked whether things were all right. Dude, it's your show and it's running just fine. So I'm back in my place right here, muting up too, because I want to hear what Coop has to say.
DJ is
also Joe. Joe said it's a school night and he has kids or something, or good night kids or whatever. And he said I tried, DJ. He said he was trying.
Yeah, DJ's one of the guys who will always, when someone's talking in chat, he's always going to lay back. But when he does talk, it's very relevant to what's going on.
That's why I wanted him to not necessarily be forefront of the conversation, but at least have the option to be able to talk, because I know Joe would just talk and talk and then talk. And then when DJ was talking earlier and Joe started talking over him, DJ just stopped talking. And I wanted to hear what DJ was saying. And so I wasn't trying to I wasn't trying to stop Joe from talking. No. I was just trying to stop him from talking over DJ, because DJ always has some of the best conversations.
I think you're controlling your panel appropriately.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very much.
Because you know that I will go and ramble on
I'll say it
somebody tells me to shut the fuck up.
Say it ain't so. No, and I will too.
Joe,
we're all guilty of it. Which the only thing is when other people need to have a turn, sometimes we forget other people need to have a turn, and we need a friendly reminder. That's it.
I know Joe's watching right now. Joe, you're fucking awesome. Joe, you're fucking awesome. Dude, man. I love your opinion. I hate your fucking audio shitty situation that you have with your fucking audio right now. But I love your opinion, but seriously, you kind of have this I talk over people occasionally, but Joe, you kind of tend to do it more often than more other people. Joe, I fucking love you. You're always welcome on this channel. You're always welcome to come hang out. And you're a fucking awesome person.
None of us are free of that sin.
No, that's why I was fixing to say I love Joe, and I can be a very outspoken person. I do not mind a host of a show going, Coop, shut your mouth for a second and let someone else talk.
Yes,
I don't mind
that's a host privilege.
Yes.
So that's my biggest problem with what happened last night. Was Coop was like, hey, let's calm down here. And then Gabber's like, blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
what?
Gabber did not respect decorum procedures.
Yes, and that's exactly where I'm at. Is this is my channel. And I'm not trying to be like I'm the big boss guy. I'm not.
Show off those guns.
No. I want to have the conversation to happen. Except it's just like with DJ tonight. I'm like, DJ, do you have a comment to say? Hey, DJ, you still here? Do you have something?
Oh yeah.
Do you have something you want to add?
Yeah, just that with the Joe thing, there's zero bad blood, man. And remember, I started off by wanting to contribute that I've spent like five days without power, and this ball sweat that's been, I've lost 10 pounds in sweat, which is a good thing, right? But so I know that resident in me was some, an irritation kind of thing. But yeah, no bad blood, just some frustration. And Ike, I pass it back to you, dude. We all have things that we feel are important that we want to share, and we are passionate about these things. And maybe not the Red Dawn conversation, but the things that come out of the Red Dawn conversation. When we're rolling back, recognizing some of the history and giving further context. And Coop actually, I think, used that exact word. Let's get some context here. And that's the kind of thing I think that clears up a lot of the extra, talking over or that sort of morass that we get into. But yeah, I'm going to sit back.
If we didn't have passion about what we're talking about,
how
dull would that be?
One of the things that I'm working on right now is being able to run a panel and let everybody have the conversations they want to have and still have the conversations, but to cut off the fucking fat. Like if somebody's like going off on like a tangent, and I'm like, no, we need to get back onto this, and it's my fucking thing. I'm still working on that, and I'm getting better at it.
Any of us who have run panels or running off or trying to do stuff like that. I mean, last night after we got done with the Trump stuff, we went on for fucking hour about sodas and different flavors of soda. I mean, we went off the rails, and I love that. But there does become a point where, especially if you have a subject you want to talk about, you have to tell people, wait a second, that's off topic. Let's get back to where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Joe's saying good night. Everybody say good night to Joe. Have a good night, Joe.
Yeah, have a good night, Joe.
Night, later on, man. I love you to death,
but no, I think Coop is
correct. He said tires. He corrected himself. He said tired. He said tired though. Night dogs.
But I think Coop is correct. If you're appearing on somebody else's stream, you should not only, number one, abide by their rules and regulations, or their what we used to call it courtesy and customs in the military.
Yes. So
Coop probably understands that maybe a little bit more than he think he does.
Probably so, but I mean,
I'm gonna.
Okay, let's say we're having a discussion about video games, and somebody wants to bring up geopolitical politics of a certain area. Hey, we're way off topic. This is not the point of discussion. Let's go ahead and stick to sports, because that's the entire purpose of this whole broadcast or stream is stick to sports, and that's what we're trying to do here. If you want to have the discussion, well then either create it yourself or coordinate with.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Coordinate with the host and set a time and a way to do that for him on another day. Him or her.
So Sean, I have an opinion about this, but I think Coop had something he wanted to say. I'll give my opinion after Coop gives his.
Yeah,
and that's how this stuff works. Is like I have an opinion, but Coop was going to give his opinion first. So go ahead, Coop.
No, my thing is like my streams lately. I'll do however long it takes to get me through an actual thought that I'm going through to lay down a premise. And then I open up the floor and anybody can come in. And then we'll talk about anything. The only rule, the only thing I have in my chance is don't be a racist prick. That's it. You can talk about whatever you want, and we can go off plenty of rails. We can fall off the cliff, you name it. But don't throw an entire group of people under the bus for something, because they don't deserve that shit.
Man. So I don't even remember what I was gonna say now, but I'm gonna springboard off. I'm gonna springboard off that really quick. It's kind of like, hey, white people are the problem, are the reason for slavery, except they aren't, because white people are the first slaves. You have the Slavic people, and Slav comes derivative from the word slave, and so the original slaves were white people, and they were enslaved by black people.
Dude,
and nobody wants to fucking talk about that.
I've said it a lot of times. There is not a single race, a single culture that hasn't either owned slaves at one time or been slaves at one time. So why can we not just admit that slavery has been a condition of the human nature since the dawn of time?
My only question about all of this is, why is reparations supposed to be a thing? In fact, there's actually a video I need to pull up from Rob Schneider that was hilarious. That was hilarious about this. Hold on.
I saw one the other day. This guy was this huge fan of reparations, and he took a like the 1, 2, 3 you and me test, and comes to find out a lot of his relatives were all white people that were actually slave owners. So then he's stuck holding the bucket like, but I look black. It doesn't matter. It's mind-numbing to me. The color of your skin doesn't mean shit. It never has. Why do we have to make it out to be this thing now, besides the fact you just want to separate people out and cause division?
I found the Rob Schneider clip. It's not a very good version of it, but I'm going to play it.
I'll run it.
And this is 100% exactly how I feel about this. So here's Rob Schneider. He was at a like a conservative Republican event.
Oh,
this is great.
I think he was at Turning Point.
I don't think it's Turning Point.
I didn't watch it.
But here, listen to this. This actually makes a lot of sense.
California, it has gone out of committee to approve slave reparations to be paid to people who were never slaves, to be paid for by people who never owned slaves in a state that never had slaves.
Yep.
That's like paying child support for a child you never had to a woman you never fucked.
Yes.
He's not wrong.
No, he is not wrong.
And it's even funnier. Right after that, he apologized. He's like, I told the organizers here I was going to use one F word because it's a conservative event. Rob Schneider has been fucking red pilled, and it's fucking awesome.
Hysterical to watch all of these people who have been in Hollywood forever get red pilled.
Oh man, Coop.
Hysterical to watch.
Oh man, my favorite part about this was
Rob Schneider and James Woods.
Oh, James Woods has been red pilled.
James Woods has been around for a long time. Yeah. He actually got banned off X and then got put back after.
I didn't know this, but he was one of the key instruments of the Oppenheimer film.
Oppenheimer was great. I fucking loved that movie.
I still have to watch that. He was only allowed to have a side credit though.
I still have to watch.
They've been trying to get that film they tried to get that film produced and put into theaters for 5 years.
Yeah,
I didn't realize it'd been like that.
Man, there was a lot of stuff. Like I was a projectionist, a non-digital projectionist, an actual film projectionist for 5 years.
So he made
actual cinema.
like a cinema projectionist, that it wasn't digital projectionist. So I know
Wow.
I know what actual film is, and I'm a huge film nerd. What came from it, and so like one of my favorite parts about Oppenheimer was if you went and saw the 70mm print of Oppenheimer in the theater, or the IMAX version of the film in the theater. The best part about it is that is one of the first films in 20 years that never saw a digital anything. Everything in that film that you saw was done in camera and edited optically and not digitally. That
Wait,
entire
so
film,
they actually spliced film together to make edits.
that entire film was edited optically and not digitally. In fact, they actually created.
Oh dear fucking god! That is
Hold on.
the biggest
Hold on.
pain.
It gets even better. It's the first film in history that they created black and white IMAX film. It's the first and only film that's ever had black and white IMAX film created for it. They've never done black.
Was it
They've never
presented?
done.
I haven't seen it. So is it presented in black and white?
Yes, there's several sections of the movie presented in black and white. Yes.
Is it for, let's say, what is it? A scene setting, as in they're doing a black and white portion for the, say, a documentary.
No. Let me tell you exactly how it works. So most of the movie is about Oppenheimer going up to Congress, and so there's certain sections of the movie where they're talking to him and they're backtracking to certain parts of his life, and those parts are presented in black and white. And so it's to indicate that it isn't what's happening during the
it's like you're viewing a broadcast from
exactly.
NBC, CBS, ABC.
And so they actually had to develop the first and only time they've ever developed black and white film for IMAX.
But they're actually splicing film together to make the edits.
No, they none of these special effects. None of these special effects in that movie were done digitally. It was all done optically. And the entire film, if you saw it on 70mm, it never touched a fucking computer.
I'm not actually. I actually absolutely have no interest in the film other than people's praises about special effects. Because of the way the film was done, because what is it? The last couple of years after watching Corridor Digital and learning about how special effects is done and their huge appreciation about how the movie Magic was made before CG, and their appreciation how people got to make things happen that looked like magic, and it literally was magic, but all it was illusion.
It's digital magic, digital illusion, not digital magic. It's illusion.
Practical applications that look like magic, but when you understand what happens in the background, you go.
The main reason. Yes, exactly. The main reason I wanted to see it in 70mm because I didn't have a chance to see it in IMAX, and I'll tell you about how impressive the IMAX was for that. But the main reason I wanted to see it in 70mm because I wanted to see it on actual film, and that the film reel that I saw, I'm think that maybe only 2 or 3 shots of that actually saw a computer. The rest of them were put onto film optically, and everything was done in camera. And I was so excited to see that because I haven't seen that ever in my entire life. Because when I was working as a projectionist, everything was done digitally and then composited optically.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen a new film probably in the last 40 years, 50 years It's never happened before, and I got to see that. This movie,
I wish more productions would embrace. Not to put SFX artists out of job, but there is a huge difference when practical SFX people do their thing versus computer graphics people. Huge difference.
I'm gonna tell you something that I don't think you know, and I don't think a lot of people know. This movie is the longest IMAX movie ever in the history of IMAX.
Well, the whole film is about like 3 hours, isn't it?
It is. It's 3 hours and 7 minutes.
Okay.
The only reason it's 3 hours and 7 minutes is because they actually. So if you actually went, like, there was like 7 theaters in the entire world that were playing it in IMAX, and I wish I would have been able to see it in IMAX. I really wish I would have been able to see it in IMAX, mainly because it's the longest IMAX film in existence. So when a movie's presented in a film format, most of them put them on a platter system. And so the platter system plays from the middle, plays up through a tree, goes up into the head of the projector, plays through the projector, and goes, and then just reels back on to the next platter for the next showing. So you are what's the word I'm thinking of? You're hindered by how big the platter can be for how long your movie can be.
Mm-hmm.
They actually redesigned the platter system for every single what is it called? Every single system that they're playing it on, they redesigned the platter system. They extended the platter by about that much to add about 20 minutes to the movie. And then they also redesigned the tree system to give it another like centimeter. There was like less than that much between the platter and the tree when they were playing the movie. And me being
to
a
make
fucking
it appear that it was still being broadcasted through the filmography of the day.
No, that's an actual film. They were playing on an actual film, and it's 70 millimeters, so it's played like that fucking thick. It's that fucking huge. But IMAX, so a regular film goes through a projector vertically. IMAX goes through a projector horozontally. And so that's insane.
View to present to the campus.
Yes and no. Right? Yes and no with the periscope view, but going through horizontally gives them like 3 times the amount of like space on each frame.
It's real, yeah.
Okay.
For information going through. And so digital has to stop at one point. But if you're optically projecting a film through IMAX, you're getting the full fucking frame of everything that's there that was shot on scene.
Oh, not the reduced frame for the reduced ratio.
Yeah, the IMAX film, like a frame of IMAX film. I'm going to show you how big a frame of IMAX film is. It's that big. It's that big in person, and you have that much fucking information. Well, 35 millimeter is that
like what, about
no, a 35 millimeter a 35 millimeter frame is about that big.
Okay, I gotta make
70 millimeter, 75 millimeter IMAX is about that big.
I gotta make 2 jokes here. One,
please do.
Either you showing off your pecker size, and 2,
no, I'm just being a nerd.
I know DJ knows. Do you remember when Dances with Wolves was out in theaters?
Yep.
And they literally gave people a break in between 2 reels to go use the restroom before they got back to the main part of the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. If somebody else maybe could.
They used to be the intermission session.
Can I interject too for a second?
Well, let DJ finish up what he was saying, because DJ was doing.
Oh, please, DJ, DJ. I'll talk about my experience watching.
Sean was kind of kind of touching on one of the things that I was thinking with the intermission. I mean, I don't have access to my computer or my other phone right now, so I can't look it up. Somebody look up the runtime of the movie Giant. I think that thing had 2 intermissions, and there were films.
The animated Giant?
No, sir. No, sir. James Dean.
1956.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
3 hours.
Because I think that's over 3. There we go. That's the longest. That was it wasn't through a re-release, but it was through an art house that I got to see it in a theater. I'd watched it on video before. It's a different, that is such a different experience to absorb what's going on. Another thing is, appreciating cinematography for what it really is. And I love the point that you're making about the difference in like film size, what it is that you're able to see in frame. And I wanted to offer you something that's an analogy for people who are having a hard time shifting between the millimeters kind of thing, is pan and scan. If widescreen versions, remember videos were released in 2 different versions, full screen and wide.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Your pan and scan chops out a bunch of the information. Now, I'm not saying that's a direct analog, but it's kind of it's the kind of thing. You just don't get as much of what you could see, and so therefore you're getting an abbreviated version of the art. I say I guess I just thought of it's like the Mona Lisa missing some facial feature or something like that, or maybe not. You don't know what she's like from the neck down. And then when you get to stand back and see that, you're like, I wish I could see that in IMAX. Yeah, absolutely. I want to see that Rolling Stones film so bad in IMAX. Big on.
Hold on, Sean. Hold on. Really quick. I want to say 2 things here. I went and saw The Hateful Eight in 70 millimeter, in 75 millimeter in the theater. They had an intermission, and also when I went and saw Oppenheimer in 70 millimeter, they had an intermission at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Mainly because the platter that holds the print can't hold the whole print. So there was an intermission on both of those movies.
Yeah, it makes sense to do so, to change the reel and allow.
Well, it's not changing the reel. Because I don't want to get into the nuances of how movie theaters used to work, changing reels. But you're not changing the reels. I can talk about it, but I don't want to. I have to pee really bad.
I just remember that back in the day, say Dances with Wolves was probably the longest movie back in the early '90s. If I can think.
I'll be right.
And
the point I want to make, I care for it. So keep going, Coop.
Yeah. But there's a saying: your mind can only absorb what your ass can handle. So if you put people in their seats too long, then they miss a lot of things. I do that with teaching. I give my guys plenty of breaks. We can.
I've heard that you need to. If your ass is not comfortable, students will not learn.
No, they will not. There are 2 things that will stop students from learning. If they get frustrated, and that's for everybody. If you get frustrated, your brain gets to a point where you will not learn. And if you are uncomfortable, you will not learn.
Yeah, because if you have physical discomfort, that is a disruption to your learning, but that's not something the student has any control over.
No, if you, and that's part of and this is going down a different rabbit trail, and I won't stay in here long. That's part of my arguments with schools. If you put someone in a desk for 8 hours a day, they are not going to learn. They're not. They will remember it long enough to take a test, and then they'll forget it. With movies, okay, I got to get up and move around every 40 minutes or so. I'm going to have to. Your average healthy person, within an hour, they're going to have to get up and move around.
Are we talking about intermissions in films?
Basically, yes.
No, I think he's relating it to film.
Yeah, I'm relating it.
So hold on. Back when films were first being introduced, it was being introduced as it's essentially like going to a play. Yeah. And they made it like a full evening event.
So movie
just
picture.
You're going to go
movie,
see
food, drinks, etc.
But in the late 70s, like 80s and 90s, it changed. DJ, you got something to add to this?
Well, just that I have the advantage here in Omaha of there being one of the original huge theaters that you're starting to talk about, and how they phased out in the 70s. They were over large. And it wasn't just that there were suburban smaller screens and multiplexes kind of thing. It's that people were no longer willing to do that sort of thing, to have that evening event. And that, the one that it was formerly called the Astro, but it's been converted into a children's theater. By converted, I just mean some of the things were changed over to make it not a movie theater anymore. But it's in the Rococo style. Things were so much more grand then. And it did become an event because you're going someplace that it's ornate. And I think that the average American got to feel a little upper crust in those kind of things. And for people who didn't have televisions, that was the way that you got to see things that moved on a screen.
TV changes a lot.
I can attest to that. As a kid growing up, if I got to go to a cinema or a big screen, that was a huge fucking deal.
Here's an interesting question with that. So, I mean, we see people where, say, you were going to the theater, you dressed up, you did your thing. How do drive-in movies work into that?
That's for the common man. I think sort of
common man deal, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Well,
yeah, because you drive up and you got your stereo right next to you in the car.
Still slightly different because drive-in movies was still a fucking experience to go and experience. And so you took your car, you took your family, you took your girlfriend, you took your wife, whoever the fuck you were going to go with.
They were taking their girlfriends, come on.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's still the experience at the time, because most people didn't have televisions in their home in the what year was it? It was like 1934 or 1930 something when it started.
You talk about the major deal.
I actually looked into this at one point when the fucking movie theater started.
Hey, it wasn't just the movie theaters, the drive-in theaters, and the drive-in theaters got big in the 60s.
Hold on. What's the question?
60s drive-in movies got big. You got to factor in when cars got big.
Yeah, I'll let Coop finish real quick.
Let me backtrack here for a second. I actually did a thing here, and I had Dianne Feinstein was born.
What?
Yeah, I saw that.
I gotta grab.
He was born.
Mike mentioned Diane.
She was born the same year. She was born the same year that the Reichstag fire happened. It was also the same year that the first drive-in movie theaters opened.
Yep.
And wasn't the kind of the boom for those? Coop was starting to touch on it with vehicles. It was post-war. It was the good times kind of thing, and it was also suburban development. So here's a bunch of here's some property on the. Go ahead.
Well, it was 1933 was pre World War II. They didn't take off until like the late 40s, early 50s, post World War II. So yeah, when everybody could afford to buy a car and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right,
and I just want to toss this in really quick, and that is the theater that I referred to. I got to see the last movie that was running there before the theater closed. It's an oddball one. It's a fart in a skillet as far as film goes, but it was called The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh. And I mean, maybe go IMDb and see what that's all about. Yeah. And then the other thing was I got to see 3 of Omaha's area drive-ins closed down. And one of my fondest memories of seeing a film was with my brother, and we were laying on the hood of my 74 Mercury Comet watching Night of the Living Dead as part of a triple feature. It was a blast.
Nice.
That's one of the best evolutions of film, like film movie theaters, was the drive-in, because the drive-in becomes a fucking event, because you have to sit in line in your car, and then you drive your car, and you got kids in the trunk because you don't want to pay for them, and then they get out of the fucking trunk, you get into the fucking movie, and you fucking watch. In fact, next Saturday, at the drive-in here in town in Newburgh, it's the Volkswagen weekend. I sold my grandfather's Volkswagen to a friend of mine, and I told him that it's the Volkswagen weekend, and he's like, dude, we need to go. And so he's going to drive his Volkswagen out here. Him and I are going to get in the Volkswagen, drive and go see, I think it's going to be Deadpool and Wolverine. We're going to go see Deadpool and Wolverine.
That makes
in my grandfather's Volkswagen Bug. And it's going to make me so much, it's going to make me so happy.
Two things.
Nostalgia.
So, me and I watched Deadpool Wolverine tonight. I will tell you it's good. And the other question,
I saw it last Sunday.
The other question is,
Roxy,
how do you have sex in a
having me
Volkswagen?
take her out, so I'll be back.
Yeah.
All right,
how do you have sex in a Volkswagen?
Hold on. My favorite part, my favorite joke from that one is from Mallrats. He likes to have sex in a very uncomfortable place. Yes. What, the back of a Volkswagen?
Yeah, the interaction with that line and Joey Lauren Adams, that is a great line, man. Great minds think alike. That was in my head too when the Volkswagen came up. Yep.
I do not remember watching Mallrats. I don't think I ever did, actually. I don't think
it's a good movie. Like, Kevin Smith is a piece of shit now, but holy shit, that was a good movie.
How many people in Hollywood have we not watched in the last few years and figured out they're pieces of shit?
Well, my favorite thing, so the thing I like to go with is you got Kevin Smith and Penn Jillette. They lost a lot of weight, and at one point they were fucking cool, but as soon as they lost all that weight, they became pieces of shit.
I can't argue with you.
Penn Jillette used to be like an ultra like libertarian kind of person.
Very libertarian.
But then after he lost a lot of weight during all the lockdowns, he was supporting Gavin Newsom.
Hey, look, I still think Gavin Newsom is going to be the nominee for the Democrat ticket to be president.
Have you not heard about Shapiro? Josh Shapiro.
He will be vice president, maybe. He is in the running for vice president, but not president.
My question is, hold on. Coop, I want to congratulate you on winning just as many votes as Kamala Harris did to become the nominee for.
I'm so popular
for president.
I'm so popular. Yeah,
because nobody fucking voted for her.
Dude, the first time she ran for president, she got 0 votes.
Yes.
How bad do you have to be at that point to have gotten beaten by Joe Biden's potato ass? Because his cheese was sliding off the cracker back then.
Yeah, but also at that point, he wasn't as bad as he is now. My question to you and DJ Sean, he's not gonna, not Sean so much, but I'll ask both of you just this question right now. If Joe Biden isn't of sound mind to run for president again, what makes him of sound mind to still be president right now?
Nothing.
Not
a thing.
Nope.
So my next question is, and this is my theory, and I actually put this towards my buddy Matt earlier today. I asked him, like, okay, so what they should have done, this is what I think they should have done, was Donald Trump has all of these 47 hats and stuff coming out, it's like 45, 47, all this bullshit. What they should have done, which would have fucked Donald Trump over, was Joe Biden stepped down as president, put Kamala Harris as the first female and Indian president. Sorry, also black, I guess. But at that point, that makes Kamala Harris president 47. Which means Donald Trump has to reprint a bunch of his shit.
that would be too beautiful. It really would.
No, it's just fucking funny as shit because Donald Trump already has all this 47 like iconography on a bunch of his stuff, and then he has to fucking either destroy it and then make more stuff. It costs him more money. Because it'd be hilarious. Like that would just mean they need to actually be thinking in fourth dimensions.
Well, they're thinking in probably eighth dimensions, but it's all because they're dropping acid. But
no, they're not even thinking in the first dimension because these people are fucking retarded as shit. I got a retard pass. I can say retard now.
Here's the thing you have to understand about the way our government and all these deep state people operate. They're not all that smart, but what they do plan on is if their plan doesn't work, well, they have a backup plan. They're very good at that. Trump doesn't get shot, let's do gun control. If your person on the corner gets run over by a car and the person has a gun in their pocket, let's do gun control. Like they didn't get killed by the car. But
so Coop, I meant to bring this up with you. I think it was last night. It might have been a different time, but I wanted to bring this up with you last night.
Yeah.
Do you remember that mall shooting where the guy that had a concealed carry shot the guy?
I know where you're going. Yep. He had his gun on him. He walked past a gun-free zone sign. He had his gun on him.
There were leftists. There were plenty of leftists that were like, he's the guy that stopped the fucking shooting, but we need to go after him for having a gun in a gun-free zone. Yeah. They're like, we need to go after him. Like, wait, what? What?
I won't say it blew my mind at that point because I realized how these people operate.
No, I knew they were gonna fucking do it, but holy shit!
Yeah, it was
what?
It was like, hold on, this guy goes to the bathroom, he puts his AR together, walks out, tries to shoot a bunch of people, and the dude drills him, kills him before he can shoot a bunch of people.
Yeah,
and you are more worried about the dude who carried his gun past a sign than the dude who went to murder innocent people.
I have an example from my experience this evening that I want to share. So I went to a concert at a new venue tonight. The reformed Emerson, Lake and Palmer, a bunch of 70-year-old rockers. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and yes, what's left of them. And I did leave my, I don't carry my knife and I don't carry my sidearm when I go into places like that now, because almost every one of them has a metal detector now. And what happened tonight was was uniformed policemen all over the place in this joint. There were 12 guys wearing their plates, hooking their thumbs in the shoulder straps kind of thing, standing around. Yeah. I'm just like, we're at a fucking rock concert. Like, this is harsh on my mellow. Like, I don't want to think about cops. I don't want to think about them trying to protect something that is so innocent and usually we're talking about the gross exceptions where somebody does, assemble an AR in the jaw and try to take out a bunch of people. One of the cops came up to me, and because he could see, I have a pancake holster. Basically, it's threaded through my belt, so the firearm was removed. But I'm wearing that. He eyeballed it, and he came over to me. It wasn't an altogether bad interaction, but he said, "Are you carrying?" And I looked up at him because I was sitting down having a cigarette. I looked up at him and said, "Why do you ask?" And he just pointed to my hip, and then he said, "They don't allow those in here." And I'm not through processing all the way that goes, but I do want to say this, and this was an odd thing on the way in through that metal detector, which is there at every venue that I go to these days. And that was in addition to the little trays that were there, the woman, and I heard two different women who were running the two portals say the same thing to other concert goers. And that was, you have put in your keys, and they included wallet, anything metallic like your keys and your wallet. And so I asked her, "Why are you running my wallet through?" And she said, "It's just policy." And I said, "Do you understand? Have they explained to you what the reasoning is behind asking somebody to pull out their wallet?" And I wasn't going to try and take a hell of a lot of time, and I'm not going to try and take a hell of a lot of time, and I'll roll
Scan your credit card information with RFID.
Well, and it's just one of these things where it's like, your finances. I mean, people don't talk about finances for a reason. I mean, if you want to, it's fine. But to me, that was representative of give me your papers. And I'm not tinfoil hatting the shit. I'm just recognizing a trend there where people are more and more at events or businesses, more and more, they're asking me not to be myself, not to be the solid citizen that I try to be. And, Coop, I don't want to be in a situation, I don't want to be in a situation where I have to address someone with a firearm, kind of thing. But I want to be free to do what I'm already lawfully doing. Don't remove my ability to protect myself. It is an innate, it is a natural right. It's reinforced all up and down the place.
I have a funny story.
Okay.
Go ahead. I know. I have a funny story about like requisitioning things to people at security. I went to a concert. It was I think it was Demon Hunter, and I at the time my eyes were like dry as fuck, and so I had like eye drops. And so they're like, empty your pockets. I put the eye drops, and they're like, we can't let you have these. I'm like, well, my eyes are dry. I can't I can't see things if I don't have my eye drops. Like, no, we're gonna keep them here. If you want them, come back for them. And so halfway through the show, I come back. I'm like, I need my eye drops. And so I take the eye drops and I just go like this, and I just fucking just plaster them all over my eyes. And I'm like, here you go. And he's like, no, keep them. If that was acid, you just fucked yourself up.
I was thinking the same thing.
They were afraid it was like an acid dose, and like I literally just like fucking just plastered my eyes with it. And they're like, yeah, if that's acid, no,
yeah,
just keep it.
that ironically is a part of security awareness.
I thought it was hilarious.
But
it is. And I want to toss in one more thing.
No, go ahead, DJ.
And I'll pass it to you, Sean, after this. And that is, a couple of times I have forgotten that I'm carrying my knife because it's deep. It's a deep pocket clip.
Oh,
and
I've got a story about that too.
Right on. Well, what happened was I decided, I'll go put it back in my car. And they were wanding security. It wasn't a portal that we walked through. And I went back through it with it. And it passed. And so I went to the head of security because I was a doorman for a long time. I've done security. I've done uniform security. I've done armed security. I was a fucking Pinkerton investigator for a bunch of years. So I kind of understand a lot of the ins and outs and the reasons behind those things. And it was like, it's when I run into situations where no one all the way to the top sometimes understands the rationale. And so, what I was thinking with your eye drops was I wouldn't want to surrender those because someone might tamper with them. There's a reason something I put into my body is under my control at all times. It's in my fucking pocket. I bought it at a store. I made it. I got a bunch of doses in here, whatever the hell it is. That's going to be it. I'm going to internalize that.
It's in the fucking package that I bought it in.
Wow. Yeah. See? Yeah. Ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. Sean?
So the only thing I want to bring up, going back to cinema, I'm sure you're aware of this, but I've heard these things where filmmakers, the final cut is not what we actually see because they will make different dimensions. So it'll be 16.9 or
yes and
they
no.
will... Is that typically a director/producer's prerogative to say we're going to film a wider aspect versus the final cut?
It's probably a depending on how they shot it and what kind of film they shot it in. It's really probably mostly up to the production company.
Yeah.
Okay.
And an observation. Pardon, Coop. I'll shut.
Yeah, go ahead, DJ.
Go ahead. I was just going to say I was participating in a conversation, a broadcast last night, a live stream, and he was doing the original Vacation movie, the Chevy Chase National Lampoon thing, and he reminded the viewing audience of something that I had forgotten, and that is sometimes in the days where they were preparing to also have it be on television, they would shoot extra scenes to be able to insert when it was like I've seen it was too blue, language, nudity, whatever it was, so that networks could have something to keep the time filled. Another thing was they would edit down so that it's almost like chapter breaks became on DVDs where they're making it so you got a spot for the commercial on network television. Go ahead.
So now, what I was going to say, a perfect example of this is a movie with Mel Gibson. The name of it was Payback. So I watched it. I had it on DVD, and then DVDs get scratched, whatever. And I watched it on Netflix years later, and it was two different cuts of the same movie.
Yep.
There were so many scenes that were in the original that weren't in the. They messed it up when they put it on Netflix.
This is why everybody should keep physical media of the movies that they're watching. Buy physical media of the movies you're watching, because the fucking like companies will change it. They will delete, remove things. If you can get physical copies of the digital media that you're watching, hold on to it.
Oh, how many of you guys actually went, say a movie would come out, you wait a little while, and you wouldn't watch the movie, but you bought the director's cut? It was always the director's cut. Wait,
hold on. My question is, people buy movies? No. I'm not gonna get any further into what I'm gonna talk about, but yeah.
But yeah, I mean, back in the day, we didn't have the internet, so you waited for a movie to come out. Maybe you watched it in theater, but then when it came out the VHS, the big ass tapes, kids, you bought the director's cut. And when you watched the director's cut, there was 15, 20 minutes at least of shit in there that you didn't see in the original movie release. And they made more sense with the director's cut. The director's cut of Aliens, if you watch that, there's so much stuff in that movie that wasn't shown in the theatrical release.
I've got
it made way more sense.
I actually own
theatrical release. Just they had to cut a couple things.
I actually own
for runtime.
I actually own the Alien Quadrilogy on DVD.
Nice.
And I've seen all 5 versions of the movie Aliens because I have them on DVD with director's commentary.
Dude, if you look at
cool.
Aliens 3, if you watch the regular release of it and then watch the director's cut, there's a lot of stuff that's in the director's cut that explains things way more better than the original release.
Aliens 3 was really good, especially if you see the director's cut. Aliens 3 sucked. The theatrical cut of Aliens 3 sucked, but the director's cut of Aliens 3 was pretty good. However, the fact that Newt died in the right before the movie started, spoilers, that fucking pissed me off.
It did. Hicks died. Hicks pissed me off. Hicks died.
If I remember correctly,
It wasn't Hicks. It was Newt. The girl.
Right.
Newt and Hendricks died. Newt and
that fucking pissed me off.
They're off screen, which is okay for those that.
That's lazy writing.
Yes.
Yeah, because they couldn't either get the original actors or they couldn't find a good substitute.
Well, even when you went to the original, like just staying on Aliens 3, even when you went to the original alien who got out and actually infected something and then became the alien, the graphics for that, the CGI stuff, because they were CGI stuff back then, was completely
the graphics.
The xenomorphs in water swimming. That was awesome.
My favorite one from that movie was the xenomorph dog. The xenomorph dog in that movie was just fucking phenomenal.
There's so many things that change, and it kind of fits into a whole lot of other topics we could drop into, from things that are originally released to how they are edited And then once you see the full cut of it, then you get the whole picture. But when they edited these things for theaters, they were going for the most impact in the shortest amount of time, is what they were.
Yes.
Again,
But
and I think that's terrible.
The thing about Aliens 3 was it wasn't just about making the best movie for the shortest amount of money. Like the fucking production company like hindered them at every fucking turn.
Yes.
And they made that movie even worse than it actually was. So if you watch the theatrical release of that movie or even the DVD release of that movie, it was not good.
No, watch the director's cut.
The director's cut was still not very good, but it was better.
A lot better.
It was better. It was better than the theatrical or DVD release of that movie.
Okay.
But I'm gonna say this: like, I loved that movie because like the graphics in that movie were really good. Some of the characters in the movie were really good. But it still wasn't good, as great as the first two. I'm just going to say that much. It wasn't as good as the first two.
How many of you guys actually watched the original Lethal Weapon with Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, all that?
Never seen it.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Yeah.
In the theater.
There's a scene in the theatrical version where Mel Gibson is kind of on this playground deal. He ends up shooting this dude, and then he's questioned later.
Oh.
Well, in the director's cut of it, they showed everything that happened then. And it was it made the whole scene make sense. In the theatrical version, the scene didn't make sense.
Have you guys seen the new Alien trailer?
I've seen
it.
I saw the trailer tonight.
I've been seeing bits of clips, but not an entire trailer. No.
I saw the trailer tonight.
I'm pulling, like Shinobi's talking about it. I'm pulling it up. We're watching it. We'll talk about it. You guys want to talk about it?
Absolutely.
Well, I'm curious of where in the timeline this is.
No. This is taking place right after the first Alien movie, and so it's in the same. It's like that's why.
Because the only thing I've seen from the bits and clips that I've seen is there's a lot more face huggers than usual.
No, it's so if you look at the backgrounds, it's set up exactly like the OG Alien movie. But let's watch this. You guys ready?
All right, hold on. I got to deal with Doggo, but I'll be able to.
Yeah, deal with Doggo, brother. I just saw this. I saw part or one of these.
You sure you want to do this?
There she is. You want to break in and steal highly regulated equipment.
This could be our only ticket out of here. Should be in and out in 30 minutes.
Welcome to the Romulus Space Station.
That looks so good so far.
I'm stopping it now so we can claim we're talking about it. But everything I've seen so far in this trailer just reminds me of the original movie, and that's the main reason. Like, it's just shot in a similar way. The acting,
similar tones, the similar colors.
The acting not so much, but the tones and colors, yes. But holy shit, this movie! Like when I went and saw Deadpool last week, they played this trailer. This is the only trailer they played, and I'm kind of excited to see this movie.
I am too.
I'm a huge Alien fan. I'm not a huge Alien fan, but Alien is one of my favorite movies. It's one of the best movies I've ever seen. It's one of Ridley Scott did such a good job with that. But also Ridley Scott also sucks at
absolutely.
Ridley Scott sucks at a lot of other things he's done, but that movie is so good.
You know, one thing that I don't know that necessarily I hope that they do, but I got into comic books as an adult for a while. There are a whole bunch of things similar to the Predator mashup, Predator Aliens mashup, a series of trade paper novels that were colonial marines. So all those colonial marines, Hicks and Vasquez and all those, it's about them going planet to planet sometimes and having to take out different alien hives kind of thing. So there are extensions of that universe.
The comic books filled in the story holes that everybody wanted but could never see it on screen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And there's a bunch of
I know we're live.
Yeah, there's a bunch of audio out there with aliens, telling a whole lot of different stories.
I'm still waiting for another good Predator movie. I still have not seen it. Predator 2 was still the last good Predator movie.
Yeah.
I have a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine, is a special effects artist. He worked on the movie. What's that? He worked on Galaxy Quest. He also worked on the movie. He was also an on-set special effects artist for Predators, the movie Predators, that came out like 2012 or something like that.
Yeah.
And he also was like a special effects supervisor for what's that movie, Waterworld. He was a special effects supervisor for Waterworld.
Oh, that movie where everybody got a black mark on their resume.
I actually like that movie.
No, Waterworld was really good. He loved working on Waterworld because
it actually was really good. It was so expensive it tanked to the box.
No. So I'm gonna give you guys an insight to like the special effects thing that was going on there. So they were in Hawaii, working in Hawaii during the summer, and a person showed up that was supposed to be a safety coordinator or something like that, and so Smokey, my buddy Smokey, he was there, and the guy went up and talked to him because he was the foreman of the special effects and whatnot, and everybody was wearing shorts and t-shirts and like flip-flops. And this guy showed up and he's like, dude, you know, this is a safety violation. They need to be wearing long pants and like closed-toed shoes. And he's like, it's 104 degrees. You tell them to fucking wear those.
Yeah.
Heard that.
One of my favorite stories that he told me was about Galaxy Quest. So he was one of the guys that set up the sets to actually like move. So he set up all the hydraulics to move the set.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of my favorite ones. He set the hydraulics up to move the sets. The safety coordinator showed up and he's like, "Oh, you can't do it this way. You got to do it this way. You got to change this. You got to change this." And he's like, "This is gonna work." And the safety coordinator is like, "No, it's not gonna. No. You need to change this because it's not safe." And so they spent 2 days. They spent 2 days and changed the set and re-rigged it to fucking do it the way that the safety coordinator said, and it broke the first time they tried to do it. And the safety coordinator said, "Hey, just put it back to the way you had it."
That's no different than having a safety officer.
Especially after the incident with the Twilight Zone movie. Yes, I understand there needs to be people there to ensure sets are safe, especially for actors.
Oh, this is different. Involved. This is different than having a fucking helicopter on set.
Oh, good God.
Well, yeah, an actual live helicopter going barrel down with the propellers going, of which it doesn't take much effort on the propeller part to decapitate you.
Smokey being a... Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Apocalypse Now, like that was when it kind of became. I became aware of that sort of thing. You know, like set safety.
Tell him exactly where. Tell him exactly what you're talking about.
Which happened after Apocalypse Now. during one of the segments, because the Twilight movie, or not Twilight, the Twilight Zone movie was, I believe, was it 3 chapters or 4?
I think it's 3. It's 3 or 4. I can't remember. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was a
movie.
multi-chapter movie. Like if you were to take 1-hour episodes and break them down and put them onto a full release. One of the segments was a dude who is trying to save Vietnamese children. He's walking through a water area and a helicopter crashes on top of them, and they kept a lot of the footage of that, but it did kill the actor, and I believe it killed the children.
Both children. And that also changed a lot of rules about how having children on set.
Child labor.
Live explosives and having live.
Yeah, because they took a fucking Huey and just angled it down to go down, but they just happened to be in the crosshairs of a rotating rotor.
I confused the 2 films. I now have been correct. I'm corrected now. Now I can remember and understand.
Man, the guy that directed that movie is the same guy that directed the Blues Brothers. It's the same director. I think it's the same director that directed that.
Yeah, he got sued for a shitload of money.
A lot of money.
And I think he got put into ruin.
No, he's still directing stuff, but yeah, he pretty much
wasn't at the time he was
for a while, for a long while
into ruin. But no, you keep going on with Romulus.
We're gonna keep watching this. Oh, it's coming up.
This place gives me the creeps. What the hell is this?
I don't know.
Wait, is this a Sam Raimi film?
No, they did a remake of Evil Dead, and this is the guy.
Yeah, no, I'm well aware of the remakes. That's why it's like director of it, and I'm like, wait a minute, you're gonna have to be more specific. Because Sam Raimi.
Hold on. Chaos is saying from the creator of Evil Dead, if this is Sam Raimi, we're gonna.
It did say
the director of Evil Dead. It's not Sam Raimi.
Okay, when I read that.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
It's being misleading on purpose. This is from the. Pretty sure this is the director. This is not a Sam Raimi film. I'm pretty sure this is the director of the remake of Evil Dead.
No, because this is not up Sam Raimi's pipe.
Actually, Sam Raimi did Spider-Man 3, so this could be up Sam Raimi's pipe dream. Just gonna say that much.
Yeah, but Sam Raimi is whether it's Evil Dead, the Marvel films, or the original Spider-Man films.
After Spider-Man 3,
it does not look like his style.
Actually, it kind of does, though. I'm gonna say I'm going to interject. This kind of does.
I think this is where we're gonna have a subjective disagreement.
Let's watch the fucking trailer. Have you seen this?
Not the full trailer. I just see bits and clips as I scroll.
So let's watch the trailer, and then we'll have the disagreement.
All right.
What the hell is this?
I don't know.
Oh, hold on. So it's not Sam Raimi because it says the director. Hold on, it's the director of. It's the director of Evil Dead and Don't Breathe. So it's not. It's that guy.
Don't Breathe.
What the hell is this?
What is it? The last name is Lang. I forget the name of the actor. Older, well-built gentleman.
Yeah, I don't care. No, don't care.
Gentleman. Go ahead.
Don't care. Like this trailer, this movie still looks really good. I'm like at this point, I'm going to watch the movie before I give it my opinion.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
It looks really good.
The fuck was that?
Mama.
Yo,
Stop playing around, man. Just get out.
I'm not playing around. There's something in the water.
What do you mean there's something in the
No,
water?
there's just something in the fucking water.
Don't let it put it
Run.
in. Uh-oh.
Are you alright?
All right, I've never seen their chest glow.
Navarro! Navarro! I don't know what to do.
Run.
Whatever comes, we'll face it together.
Let's go. Gotta be the original Hulk, right?
All right, so I'm gonna end it there. I don't care about this anymore. But my opinion is, I want them to do exactly what we think they're gonna do with this alien, and not do the exact opposite, like what most fucking woke movies are gonna fucking do. You treat this the way it should be treated, and people are gonna fucking love it.
Oh yeah.
If you treat it in a way where you have this like super weird, super bullshit twist at the end, people are gonna fucking hate it.
Absolutely.
So it's the exact same thing with fucking Star Wars.
Everybody online, and then those who are waiting to see 1 or 2 days or 3 weeks from now, they're gonna go, fuck that. Nope.
Yeah, because I will not rush out there first night and go see something these days. I'm not going.
No, like I'm probably I'm not excited. I don't get excited about movies anymore, but I'm kind of excited about this based on this trailer. This trailer kind of makes me excited. There's probably some sort of lesbian bullshit going on between those two girls in there, but I don't give a shit as long as the story's good. Like if you make a good story between those two characters and everything, and you just don't fucking shoehorn a bunch of bullshit into that, who gives a shit?
That is something Hollywood has never caught on to. If you you can do a whole lot of shit and people will not care, but they focus on the thing instead of the story, and then everything falls out. Like, we're just done with it.
So, man, holy shit! Like, I had a thing I was going to say, but it doesn't matter. But I'm really drunk. I'm just really drunk right now, and I probably should just end this soon, so I'm not saying super drunk shit on my channel.
I look at my dragon.
You know what? That's always wise.
I don't want to see your red rocket. Please don't show me a red rocket.
That's my dragon, man.
Oh, it's cute. Like that's your red rocket, right?
That's a 3D printed articulated dragon.
Wait. Question: How long did that take you to print?
This, since I printed it out at 50%, was about 26 hours to print.
Jesus Christ!
But it turned out good, man. I got some of my print.
That's fucking awesome. It's like from what I can tell. From what I can tell from here, it's pretty good.
Mushu would be jealous.
Yes.
My dragon.
I'm gonna give DJ the floor for a second because he hasn't had the floor for a minute.
Well, all the way back to when you were talking about the different prints, and then you were talking about the different film formats and whatnot. one of the distinctions that I make more often in my head when it comes to film is I make a distinction between films and movies. And what I wanted to pass back to you is oftentimes it's the difference between art and entertainment. You can be entertained by art, but entertainment is very rarely art.
Yes.
And so that kind of thing with the long form stories or, filling in these blanks. And Coop was making the point, they're just going to go for the action. They're going to go for what people are boom, 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 boom. And I think that ties into the point that I was sort of making about the way people consume these days is it needs to be just give me the good stuff. Give me the good stuff. Like fast forward through the boring crap and give me this sort of deal. So go ahead.
They don't make a lot.
Hold on. I want to. Can I interject really quick?
No.
This is why I let DJ interject occasionally because he makes great points. Go ahead, Sean.
He does. No, all I was gonna say is what Hollywood has been producing is entertainment for a very small portion of the population who barely will go buy tickets to see it because they'll wait for it to stream on Amazon Prime.
Well, it's because they're the most not articulate, but loudest people to complain about it. But they're not the people that are going to pay for it.
Yeah.
But then you have contrasts such as Deadpool 3, which is nothing more than a fan fiction put to screen, but it's what everybody's wanted to see for 20 years.
Hold on. Deadpool 3 is not technically fan fiction. It's fan service.
Or fan service. Okay, you're correct. You're right. I misspoke.
No, it's not fan fiction. It's fan service. So Sean, if you want to continue based off of
because there are very few films that come out as of late that are for all general audiences. And yes, sometimes the directors or the creative teams have to make sacrifices in their productions to appease a general audience versus a niche audience. If you're going to go niche, go make an independent film. If you're going to go for all audiences, then you need to be focused on blockbusters and how to do that.
Think about, say, if you're making a comic book movie, okay? Some of these comic books have sold millions of copies. You already have the screenplay in your hands. You have the storyboards in your hands. You just have to produce something that is live action that matches that. And then all of us geeks get our wet dream of seeing Wolverine pop off the stream or, Colossus go at it, or we see Sabretooth or something like that. You have everything at your hands. It's already there. Now, when you go into all the millions of people who bought these comics and you change that entire storyboard, then you're at your niche audience.
Coop, can I stop you there just really quick?
No.
I'm going to though. So, because I can mute you if I wanted to. But I'm going to stop you there. It's because of the DEI index. So these companies are getting extra money from other companies.
Yes.
For fulfilling these other things. You need to have the black person, the white, the non-white person, the Hispanic. You get all of this in there. And so like you have to like shoehorn in all this DEI bullshit.
Yeah.
That the normies don't fucking want, but if you don't shoehorn it in there, you don't get the DEI like they have the fucking number. Like your company gets that fucking number for being inclusive and shit. And if you don't do this, you're not going to get the extra money from like these other companies,
China,
all this other bullshit. And so they literally have to fucking shoehorn all that shit in there to make it happen.
If you took X-Men, the Age of Apocalypse, and did it just like it is in the comic books and only brought it into live action, those would be the best grossing films on this planet.
Exactly.
And like I said, you already have the storyboard written. You might add in a couple more lines here and there or something like that because it's easier to do that in live action. But you already had all the storyboards. You had the entire plot.
Yeah.
And everybody who bought a comic book, which are millions of people, would have told their friends, hey, we have to go watch this. I read this in comic books. And if you did it that way, I mean, it would be a blockbuster every single time.
That's exactly what they have to do. That's exactly what they should do. Is exactly like with everybody, with everything that's happening. Like Lord of the Rings, do it as it's fucking written.
Yes,
and people will fucking love the shit out of it.
Yeah, and I mean, Lord of the Rings, which I've never read them. I've listened to all three on audiobooks. I love listening to them. I've listened to them a few times. That paints such a better picture than what was done in the movies. Now, the movies were good. I liked the movies. But
Tolkien is one of the best artists, word artists, I guess, of our century. And he has a set fucking set of fucking worlds that we're working with. But now we have the new Rings of Power bullshit that changes all of that. And people like my cousin's fiance hates me because I complained about Rings of Power once. And she thinks I'm a racist because I complained about Rings of Power and how it's not Tolkien.
You're not a racist?
No, I know that.
I thought I was showing to the white guy party. What am I doing here?
No, I know that. I know that I'm not a racist, but she thinks I am. and honestly, at this point, if she thinks I'm a racist, I'm doing something right because she's one of those woke fucking motherfucking weirdos.
Oh, God, yes.
Because she has the fucking dyed part of her hair, and so she has the danger hair, and so I don't give a shit what she thinks.
Dude, it's become, I don't know. There are parts of Deadpool that I've put up with because it was Deadpool, and I could deal with them doing some different things. Like in hell, Deadpool 2, they kill off Longshot. They kill off a bunch of people. They change the
best part about Deadpool though is Deadpool is literally non-canon Marvel.
It's
the best
most of the time. And I guess that's the reason I can get along with it. Even this last one, there were there were some of the things in there they hit that was canon bouncing through.
But this last one also pulled on the fact of the multiverse.
Yes.
And so that also means because we have the multiverse, none of the other Deadpools are canon as well because we have the fucking bullshit multiverse. DJ, I thought I heard DJ was gonna say something. He pulled something up. DJ, you got something you want to put in on this?
When we start to roll back to a few of the previous points, yes, I'm enjoying listening to you guys. Go ahead.
No, DJ, roll what you got, brother. Roll it all the way back.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
Yeah, roll it back, man.
Well, one of the things, and here's the way I'll jump onto it. I've started to participate less and less in the 2A sphere on YouTube, and I'm going back to some of my origin, which is science fiction. So I was really excited to be talking about the aliens thing, and I haven't seen the trailer. The way that people and Coop was bringing up the comic book thing, people from those spheres are running away from things because they see, so clearly the manipulations that are going on. And it's just like, man, I saw, the Star Wars thing is where I want to go with this. Star Trek, it's the same thing basically applies. And they're moving so far away from some of the original intentions, but I'm torn. I like to see people mess with expectation. I get that there are people within, say this, I'll jump to the Star Trek thing. There are people who, if it doesn't follow Roddenberry and they call it TOS, the original series, if it doesn't follow that, it's garbage. The thing is, each generation is leaving that one behind in that franchise. And the elements that are being added now, Yeah, it is a politics kind of thing. But you know what? End of the day, I would just rather see anything that's being created in that universe than worry so much about where it's all going to go, where it's going to end up. And the way I wanted to tie that back into part of the thing with Red Dawn is people's visceral reactions to things where they're thinking films, that's almost disappeared. And somebody said, I'm sorry, I don't remember who said, if you want to do that, make it independent film. There are fewer and fewer of those going on too. And then I want to touch on Kevin Smith because I am able to see, but this is one of the points. I'm glad you say that, because I can acknowledge the difference between the artist and the art that's produced, and whether or not his personality fits. I love the films. Now there might be a clunker in there somewhere, but I'd rather see a clunker than nothing at all.
Can I bring this up about the separating the artist from the arts? Billy Joe Armstrong, the guy from Green Day, that guy's a fucking piece of shit. That guy's a fucking piece of shit. If he died tomorrow, I would not bat an eye. But he makes some of the best music that I've ever listened to. Like from my high school years, I listened to fucking Green Day all the fucking time. Those guys are fucking awesome. They make good music. But Billy Joe Armstrong is a fucking piece of shit.
The musician is one thing. The person behind the musician is an entirely different beast.
But
I feel the same way about Corey Taylor.
Hold on, really quick. Sean and Coop, DJ. I love when you interject your commentary here. You're more than welcome to say, "Hey guys, can I say something?" You're more than welcome to interject.
Oh, absolutely.
I know I'm not I don't want to be the guy that's like 20 minutes later, be like, "Hey, DJ, you have a comment?" And you're like, "I'm going to talk about this 30 minutes they talked about 30 minutes ago."
It's cool. It's organic
for DJ, because the rest will be like waving hands and like showing stuff.
DJ's over here. DJ's over here like raising his hand. He's like, "I gotta say something. I want to say something."
We need a raise hand emoji.
Now, see, with something, I appreciate that. I thank you very much. But I would like to hear other people's passions too. And one of the things I'm maturing into, because I used to be the one I'm always on the mic. I'm always the one to stand up. I was the clown, and so the extension of that for me were things like acting. I've been doing it since I was 5, and I haven't in the last 10 years or so. But that's something that somebody brought up earlier when we were talking about the grand experience. I think it was you, Ike, who said, it's like plays, and pardon. And we were also talking during how long a break might take, or the intermissions, and multiple ones. I was used to that chaptering because I went to the symphony all the time with my mom. Plays and musicals were part of my life as well. And so when I was making that point about the art, I've been one of the people who creates that art. And I'm not saying that I was great or anything like that. I've never been paid for it. But being able to get in those characters and see, at least in stage productions, what happens behind the scenes and being absorbed into that family kind of thing, there are a lot of people that you come to tolerate because they're just artists. And when you said that, he's a piece of shit, I wish he'd die, I wanted to ask you, and so I'll ask you now, if Billy Joe was your neighbor and he espoused those opinions, would you still want him dead? Just quick answer.
Well, as the person that he is online and the person that he is in person, apparently, he's a piece of shit. I don't necessarily want him to die, but he makes
one of those. I have a feeling
he
that
makes. Well, hold on, Sean, really quick.
Nope.
He makes good art. He makes good art. However, there was one time, and this is actually documented, where somebody saw him in his car and said, "Hey, Green Day sucks." And so Billy Joe Armstrong climbed out of his car and beat the shit out of the guy that said Green Day sucks, because he can't take criticism. I'll take criticism, And so I'll criticize somebody that can't take criticism every fucking day of the week. Like Billy
Yeah,
Joe Armstrong is a piece of shit. I don't want him to die. I don't necessarily want him to die. I would like him to keep making good music, but his political opinions are bullshit, in my opinion.
I don't disagree with that. But one of the things that's interesting here is you and I disagree about the level of art that Green Day produced. I see them as third wave West Coast punk that kind of went awry. Now their contribution, Dookie, the way it blew up and stuff like that. I worked in retail music as well. But see, I don't have as much respect for his music, and I have no respect for the personal espousement kind of thing. I'll pass it back to you after this because I think this might be a good thing to move on to, and that is this. When celebrity becomes who we listen to as a culture, we're fucked. And we've been doing that for a while. Who cares what that guy thinks? He has a microphone. He has the spotlight. He has the attention. And all of a sudden, because they're able to reach through mass media more and more people, it ends up that this guy's opinion, and we're supposed to talk about it. I don't give a shit what Jack Black said in Australia. I don't care about that.
Well, it wasn't Jack Black. It was Kyle Gass that said it. But yeah,
right. So Kyle said that, but the way people were dumping on Jack. If you watch that clip, he has his performance partner do this gaffe, basically let his mouth run, and Jack's response to it was what moved the show along, kind of thing. It was just like, I don't remember the exact words he used, but then people want to single him out and dump on him for that one thing. And again, it's like, that's not separating the performer. I think that we don't have enough distance between Tom Cruise's opinion on something, we'd all be Scientologists kind of deal, or any other person who comes to be more and more in the public eye. Musicians, and go ahead.
No, I will have to say, you brought up a good example, Tom Cruise.
No, DJ's great. I have to pee really quick, so I'm going to go pee. You guys
yeah, I'll follow along what I was already going on about. For the longest time, I would actually absolutely refuse to watch anything Tom Cruise because of what I knew about his personal life. And I found it absolutely absurd that he garnered so much attention, so much wealth and power. And I saw him as nothing more than a degenerate. Then I actually start having, classical liberal views come in, and like, fine, I'll watch some of his stuff. Okay. Tom Cruise, the actor, yes, he's great. He's spot on. There's a reason why he's a top-rate villain. Personal life, though? No, let's just say I wouldn't invite, even if I were the most famous person in the world, I would not give him an invite.
Well, if
that makes sense.
There's something.
Oh, it does. I understand.
Yeah, there's something I can say and most of us have probably noticed it. All right, no matter what you do in your life, how much good, there's going to be a certain segment of people that are always going to categorize you by that thing that you did that was negative.
Your mistakes, your fucky wuckies, or your colossal fuck up.
I guess that's why I've always embraced. Yeah, I am a very imperfect person, and I'm not going to go after someone just for their flaws. I'm not, because I got glass houses don't throw stones. Mine's pretty much plexiglass, and you could get me with a rock. So, but
oh my god,
and DJ's right about a lot of this, where this person gains so much amount of fame, and then all of a sudden everybody thinks they got to care about their opinions. All of a sudden they become this relevant thing, and they're not. You sung songs, good deal.
Well, there have been quite a many actors lately who are just saying, no, this is off limits entirely.
Yeah.
As there's a lot of the only people who know their values offset. It's limited to like a small handful. Go ahead.
The only thing that I can come to is the actors that you don't know their political opinions. Any and all actors, if you don't know their political opinions, they're probably conservative.
Yes.
Mainly because because of all of this bullshit. And so I don't want to call anybody out, but I'm going to talk about a person that's on Bacon Stream, that comes on Bacon Stream. He's a right-leaning conservative that shows up on Bacon Stream that uses a voice modulator so people can't find out who he is, because he is a very prominent voice actor, and I don't want to necessarily call him out more than that. Everybody knows who I'm talking about.
I thought you were talking about me till you said voice modulator. Then I was all heartbroken.
What's his name? That's
yeah, I know.
Techno.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
He's apparent. Like I've talked to him before. I've actually talked to him. Like Bacon was hanging out at my house, and he called Bacon, and I got to talk to him on Bacon's phone, which was kind of weird. And I'm like, hey, I want to hang out with you with somebody. He's like, no, I can't. I'm like, what? Really? He's like, I don't want you to know who I am. I'm like, what? Okay. He's like, because he's really concerned. He like as a conservative, like he has more conservative values than I do. Like I've talked to him about a bunch of this.
Depending on what you're
but he doesn't want anybody to know who he is because of how ultra conservative his values are, but he still like espouses those to the people he's getting the jobs from, because he can still get those jobs if they don't know that he's going to vote for Donald Trump.
Yeah,
and that's kind of concerning to me at this point, especially because if people like this is live right now. We're still live right now, and people know that I'm fucking voting for Donald Trump this next time around. And if I want to get a job and they find this fucking YouTube channel, I can be, they can be like, you're a fucking racist. I'm like, well, prove that I'm a racist, please. And not just because I voted for Donald Trump. Just me voting for Donald Trump doesn't prove I'm a racist.
No.
The danger of cancel culture and the way that it has blossomed in recent time, it really, really disgusts me. And you making the point that, being judged by the worst thing that you did rather than all the good that you did, that's across the board. That happens it's a social thing. It's not just in the arts. And I don't think you were trying to make the point that it's just a single thing. I don't understand why it is, except that, again, I'm going to go back to when little people feel empowered by something and then they start to get together like Lego blocks, or they join hands kind of thing. The way that the cancel culture shit works now, someone who, and now you're talking about a person that we sort of know, soft quotes on that kind of thing, having to hide who they are because of others' responses. There isn't that kind of equality of opinion. There isn't that kind of discourse that happens there. Pretty soon, not pretty soon. What's happening now that I see is people aren't allowed to be themselves anymore. Well, and I'm not going to say how far it goes back because I simply can't speak on it. I'm not informed. But that people are having to do that sort of thing with their personal life. This isn't because they married a donkey kind of thing. It isn't something that is so grossly unacceptable to everyone. It's what is unpopular in the moment. And then you have these people that are left in the unfortunate wake of a political movement or a social movement or something like that. And go ahead.
I was going to say there's enough people that are concerned about this, like within the community here. Like Sean knows a bunch of people like Mando, MGTOW Mando, and we have Jackal, and all these people that are hiding their actual identity, that they are afraid of repercussions of what could come from them being involved in this kind of stuff. Crusader Nate as well.
Yeah.
I know that
most of everybody. He's the one.
I know that Rhino's not hiding his shit too much, but but still,
No,
it's
but that's the
there's
risk. What happens when you enter this field?
There's a big amount of like repercussions when it comes to allowing yourself to be involved in this kind of like anti-culture culture.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, I don't give a shit because right now I don't have a job. Right now, I don't plan on, like, I'm probably going to try to get a real job soon, but I'm not going to be able to get a job in Portland because of all of this. And I don't give a shit about that, and it's going to be a thing I have to deal with.
It just means you have to adapt and overcome.
You know what else it means? Sean, you know what else it means? It means that people are having to toe a line just to have a job sort of thing instead of being judged on the job they do.
Yeah.
I can remember when a company that I worked for passed a law. No employees were able to wear little American flag pins. It's like, wait a minute.
What?
Just because someone's wearing just because somebody's wearing an American flag pin doesn't mean that they're conservative people. It means they may indeed be, but it doesn't mean that just because somebody has pride in their country that they're a conservative or they're dumbasses or they're out to make it so they're trying to restrict people or all that other kind of shit. And I get it if it's like a uniformed kind of thing. It's like a uniform is a set deal. You don't add your flair to that. I've had to wear uniforms and had to obey those rules, but I wasn't even considering wearing I don't know, one of my rock band pins or something like that on my I worked for McDonald's for like 3 weeks. I understood that the name tag they supply is the only thing I'm going to put on my chest because at those times they're paying me to represent them. And so that's a role I'm accepting. I'm trading what they're giving me. I'm trying to do a good job and I'm getting the paycheck in the end. But there were that and other things. This is an example, and other things have made me leave jobs before because I don't want that kind of stricture. This
is also why I've been pursuing the path of starting my own business, doing blacksmithing, because I get to make my own rules and then the thing is,
and only you are responsible for your success or fail.
If I'm
not
doing
other
that,
people.
I can section that off from my political YouTube channel. It's a different thing. People want to buy shit from me, they can buy shit from me. And then if they want to look into what I'm doing, they can find this and then they can be mad about it. I don't fucking care. And then if they don't want to do business with me, I'm not going to do business with them. But who gives a shit?
Ike, have you ever looked into a power hammer or tire hammer?
We're actually looking into getting a power hammer at some point, probably within the next 2 years. Yes.
I was going to say, if you haven't looked into one, you can look up. Some of us called it a tire hammer. Some of it you can call it / power hammer.
I want a power hammer. I want a power hammer so bad. It'll make things a lot easier. But there's other things that we're gonna. There's other things we're gonna buy first because they're cheaper.
Your average power hammer right now is costing how much?
Are we talking power hammer?
Talking about a pneumatic power hammer.
A decent power hammer is about $2,400.
All right. What if you cut that cost about in half?
For $1,200? Yeah, probably. Like it'll be a little bit easier.
Yeah, look up, and you can look them up. Hell, I just looked up this one.
All right, guys. I just got this. I'm out. Y'all have a good one.
Later on, brother.
Sean, have a good night.
Just getting too tired, and time for bed for me. You guys have a good one.
Yeah, I'm about to call it a night too, but
yeah, look up if you can remember this. Look up Clay Spencer. He produces.
Can you
eat? It's
can you email that to me?
I have your email.
IkeLewis@gmail.com. That's not that hard.
IKE
LEWIS at gmail.com. Yeah, send me the information. I'm thinking about calling it a night here.
Yeah, I gotta get out of here too.
I'm fucking drunk as shit. Hold on. I'm gonna give DJ his last words, and then I'll give you last words, and then I'll fucking go. DJ, what do you got?
I want to offer this to folks out there, and it has to do with communication. It has to do with humankind. Too often in our quick, fast food culture kind of thing, it's not the food, it's the information and the amount of time that we spend in genuine conversation versus, passing a little time of day sort of thing. It's about the telephone. I want to encourage people to pick up the phone when it rings almost every time. If you're absolutely doing something that cannot be interrupted, I understand that. But too often I have heard in chats like this on different topics that people are mourning the fact that they missed a phone call from somebody. And I'm not, I'm also a big person. I advocate for mental health and suicide awareness. And I have heard too many stories for a lifetime already about people who are now, they have this twist in their head because they aren't able to reconcile their perceived failure in communication. And that's something that no one should take on. But some people are guilty of that. But I want to drag them out of that. I want to encourage people to answer the phone. I want people to dialogue. And I want to remind everybody that we have a right, based on our birth, to exist without interference or at a minimum, please. So answer the phone. Remind somebody that they're valuable. And if you are walking around in your day-to-day life and you see somebody who is not smiling, make one. They will make that smile. We're monkeys. We have that reaction. If somebody yawns, we do the same thing. Smile. It's so simple to do. And it may just indeed make somebody's life better. Too simple. Too simple. Thank you very much, Ike, for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. You're always a pleasure to have on. If you ever want to get on and hang out, you have my information. Text me. We can maybe just set up a conversation between you and I and other people. We'll make it happen. Coop, what do you got?
Dude, I don't know how to follow DJ up.
Yeah, it was such a good fucking
DJ
Discord.
He is always so spot on with his commentary on things and his thoughts. I'm more just the redneck who drinks beer and talks shit, so it's hard for me to follow DJ up. But he is right about a lot of things.
I can't follow that either.
I know sometimes I have to get better about, say, like DJ was saying, picking up the phone. Because I've got people who message me, and regardless of what people may think about me on here, I tend to be really antisocial sometimes because I get trapped up in my own head. So it may take me a little while to get back to people. Friends that I know in real time that are right down the road from me know that. And they understand it. If they call me and message me and said, "Hey, Coop, it's an emergency," I'll be there. They know if they call me on a general day, sometimes I might not pick up the phone because I'm in my own head, and
exactly
I can be extremely antisocial. So I know that's something I really got to improve on is picking up that phone a lot of times when it rings. Now, again, if you know me or we've dealt with each other, if you text or if you try to call me, don't get me on the phone. If you text me and say, "Hey, Coop, I need this," or "Coop, this is an emergency," I will get back to you as quick as I can. Because if I know it's like that, brother, I'm there. If it's a general, "Hey, just what are you doing?" Sometimes I'm in a mood. I don't want to tell anybody, how I'm doing at the time. They don't need to know.
You are a YouTube personality, I guess, but you don't like just because you are a YouTube personality doesn't mean you need to be 100% available all the time for everybody. So you do what you're gonna do. Like, I've actually canceled my last 3 Wednesday night streams because I had other things that I was doing.
Well, you do.
And
it's just the way life works. That's the reason I don't have like a set time where I'm streaming these days. I go live when I can. I may come up on a whim, and I might go live for 4 hours. But it's just that's the way time should happen.
This was an unplanned one because of a bunch of things that happened recently for me. But yeah, I understand. But having a planned time is kind of how you cultivate an audience.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's what you're trying to do. But if that's not where if you're not trying to cultivate an audience, if you're just trying to just hang out with friends, fucking go for it. Who gives a shit?
That's generally just what I'm planning on doing. Whether it's hanging out with you, I wasn't planning on being on stream tonight. Hanging out with you, hanging out with DJ, hanging out with Sean.
Dude.
This
dude.
Used to I'd play video games, and I'd play video games for hours on end. And this is kind of taking that place in a lot of cases because I get to talk to people, I get to shoot the breeze. But if I want to dip out on a moment's notice, I just hit the button and I'm out.
Yeah. Well, if you're ever on one of my streams and you're like, I'm done with this, and you just leave, like, I'm not gonna fault you for it. I'll be like, where'd the Coop go? And I'll just be like, oh, it's Coop. We'll call it good.
Which I do the same thing with people on my stream. If you got to dip out, dip out. I mean,
yeah.
We have a lot of really good conversations. A lot of really in-depth conversations sometimes with people, and it's more therapy for me hanging out with you guys than it is anything sometimes.
That's exactly why I show up on your stream when you're available. That's kind of therapy for me as well. Except for last night. Holy shit. That was a fucking rough time for me.
It got there, brother, and I hate it that it was like that, but when it gets to the point where I'll just go ahead and kick someone out and ban them.
I was like, I didn't want him to get kicked off. I really didn't want him to get kicked off, but he kept doing everything that pissed me off about how people like try to do like debate tactics, and he was doing these debate tactics that just were the ones that I fucking hate. And I just hated everything about what he was talking about. First off, about he was just. Yeah, I don't want to get into it. Never mind.
Yeah,
I shouldn't even started about it.
The debate tactics topic, like you were talking about, it's probably what got on my nerves so much about that.
Well, yeah, like nobody really noticed it until I pointed it out.
Oh, we were noticing it.
But like, oh my god, it was one of those things. It was like here's the question. I'm asking you a question. Here's the question with an answer. That's exactly what I said every time. A question with an answer.
Yes.
And then we talked about it. And then everybody started talking about it. And then when it got to a point where he couldn't control the conversation, where
new question.
Here's another question. Here's another question with a new answer. And nobody during the people being still talking about that thing, and then the new question, new answer, and people were just latching onto it, and they were pulling it off. They were talking about it again, and then that would go on until it got to a point where he couldn't control that narrative again. And new question, new answer, and it was essentially like, do you know what this is? How about this? Fuck you, DJ. Jesus Christ. And so essentially what would happen is he would just keep asking these questions that were like outrageous with an outrageous answer that nobody could guarantee was the actual answer to that question. And then as soon as I started asking about what's the validity of this question and answer, but then he would have a different answer for that and then come up with a different question.
Yeah.
And then he would just go from this point to this point to this point to this point to this point, and we would never get any kind of like coercive conversation about any of it.
You can't,
and that's what pissed me off about it.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, that's what pissed
me that way.
But that's what pissed me off about it. And so, like I even called it out. I called it out several times.
You did. You called it out.
It's like he's doing it again. He's doing it again. It's like, did you know about this guy? And then this, and I'm like, we weren't done talking about this other conversation. Like, what the fuck? Like, seriously. And then as soon as he got banned from the channel, as soon as he got kicked off the panel, he was like, Ike, you've been yelling about this. You've been yelling this entire time. Like, no, I haven't. I was yelling about how you're fucking conducting yourself. And then he called me retarded. And I'm like, yeah, I'm mildly retarded. Yeah, but I'm not gonna fucking sit here and let you fucking try to run this panel talking over people. And then as soon as somebody starts questioning you about this thing, you start talking over them to ask them a new question and everybody latches onto it. No, I'm not going to fucking let that happen. That happened all fucking night and it did not make me feel good about anything.
I let him run for a while. I think I muted him 2 or 3 times and was like, hey, PJ, just wait. Let's listen to the point. And as soon as you unmuted me, moved on to this other topic with this other answer to it. And he finally got so far off the rails, I was like, fuck it. You can just go. If you don't want to have an honest discussion about stuff, just go. Because part of probably pretty much a large part of my channel, even depending on which topic we go in, is
open conversation,
honest conversation about it.
Open. Hold on. You're right. The main part about it is honest conversation.
Yes.
Because he was not given honest conversation, because we would ask him, was like, how do you know about this? Like, I was raised Jewish. I saw my father do this. I'm like, that's circumstantial evidence. That's not evidence about all Jews. And then he would change. And then as soon as he asked him about that, he changed the conversation. He changed the topic.
Yeah, it's not a way that you actually say you're trying to do a persuasive thing where you're trying to persuade people to your point. You let people trying their points. He was not in that position. He was not trying to persuade us to his position. He was at a position and he was adamant to try to defend it. And he was not willing to hear other options or other points of view about where his position was coming from. Whereas me and you would love to talk to people to have that conversation to change our point of view. Well, it's in a lot of ways that remind me of like arguing with somebody who's anti-gun, and they came about all their positions through an emotional response.
Exactly.
And you're trying to argue facts with them, and then they just keep throwing out the emotional argument, twisting facts. And
hold on, Chaos here. He was trying to use his position as a person in that field as his experience. That's not how that works. So you have these leftists that are saying like, I have experience with guns, even though their experience with guns is with their father or their grandfather. Yeah. And so I've experienced guns my entire life. No, you haven't.
Dude, we see this, and I got to get out of here in a sec. But yeah, we see this with people.
Yeah, we'll call it.
I'm a gun owner. Well, they've got a whatever 22 sitting in their closet. They haven't spent hours on a range training. They haven't built guns. They haven't trained with guns. They haven't experienced what it's like to deal with tons of other gun owners or anything like that. They're talking out of a very small subset of experience. And they're going to argue it like it's just fact. Now, I could do that about anything.
Exactly.
I've had very bad experiences with one person or another. Now, if I argue everybody in their category is that same way, that makes me a fucking idiot. Sorry. It makes me a fucking idiot.
Yeah. So what I'm going to say right now, and we're probably going to call it a night here in a second. The guy that we're talking about, I'm not going to call him by name because I can't remember his name. I really don't give a shit. But he is more than I am more than willing to let him come on this channel and make it a one-off channel one-off show on my Friday show, the show that people show up to listen to, I'm more than willing to let him come on and talk to me person to person with a moderator between me and him. And he's more than willing to show up, but we have to have a moderator. And it has to be a third-party moderator. We'll find a moderator. It doesn't matter. He's more than welcome to show up. And that'll be my Friday show.
Have DJ do it. DJ wants to get in that headache. DJ is the most balanced guy that I know. That could be like, okay, you made a point. Okay, wait for the other person to make a point.
If he shows up,
pulling my hair out at that point.
If he shows up, DJ's probably the first person I would choose to be the moderator for it.
And who knows? I might, when I look at it, I might unban him from the channel or something, and he can come back in. But he ruined his spot of having a free place on the panel. I mean, he absolutely did. He shit all over that. So
yeah.
That would be a definite no, dude. Until you get your shit wired right, it's not a free open spot for you to come on and just espouse some bullshit views.
So here's what we're gonna do right now. I know I just gave everybody else a time to fucking just give their final thoughts. This is my final thought. This has been fun. I'd like to thank everybody for showing up. My blacksmith shop almost fucking burned down. I never got to talk to Coop about about the movie I was going to talk to him about. I never got to talk to him about it. We sort of did. But I'd like to give everybody here at least one sentence. DJ, you want to go first? One sentence before you go.
Yeah, I'm going to grab something that I put in the back chat because it came to me just a few minutes ago. And that is, to me, expanding your knowledge and experience is truly a higher human function. And if you don't stretch out, you won't grow. That's
Perfect.
It.
Absolutely.
Coop.
I'm going to go way later or lower tier than DJ, and I'll do it like I kind of do it on my show. You perks be cool. Keep that thing on you at all times. Be easy.
Perfect. The only thing I'm going to say is we need to unburden ourselves with the things that could have been. I can't remember exactly what the fuck she says. I'm trying to give a Kamala Harris quote. It's fucking dumb.
You're way too sober for that, Ike.
That's true. But DJ, thank you, sir. Coop, thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me on, brother.
I think Bob was here for a second. Everybody that was showed up. Chaos has been in chat. JR, General Sorrows, the goddamn fucking Bacon, and everybody else. Thank you for showing up and letting us be a train wreck that you wanted to watch or at least listen to tonight. But everybody, have a good night. I'm actually ending this right now. We'll see you next time.
Get out of here, Ike. Take it easy.